Ralphie likes his ducks rare. And here they come. So our colleague Jack Arute is with Colorado coach Gary Barnett. Jack, Happy New Year.
A Happy New Year right back at you, Brent. By the way, at the end of the season, this is the team that Gary Barnett led to 2 very spectacular wins. First over Nebraska, then over Texas for the Big 12 championship. But that was 1 month ago, Gary. How do you maintain the momentum from there and get the focus ready for this game?
Well, I think if you had the answer to that, there'd be a lot of us buying it from you. But everybody's got the same problem. And, you know, we went through 2 championship games in a row and had tremendous momentum. And, you know, I think it's a lot easier for us to maintain it than it is for someone to try to go out and get it for the first time. So, you know, we practiced just like we did for every other game all year. And, you know, we've never been better prepared for a game than this one.
Gary, last night you talked to your team about moments of greatness.
Well, that's right. You know, greatness, no matter how great, stays with a man forever. And this is one of those opportunities.
Brent?
All right, Jack. Our officiating crew today is from the Southeastern Conference and a veteran referee, Al Ford. He's in charge, and this is the last game that he will be the referee. Al is calling it a career. We had him a couple of years ago in the BCS championship game in New Orleans when Florida State defeated Virginia Tech. Mike Wallace is his umpire. There is our referee who was under the weather last night and earlier today. In fact, he was on an IV back there inside the officials' locker room, but he's feeling fine now, ready to go, and let's join Al.
Justin Peele and number 6, Steve Smith. And the University of Colorado captains, number 97, Justin Bannon. Number 65, Andre Gerard. Number 31, Michael Lewis. And number 2, John Minardi. Referee Al Ford will make the coin toss.
Okay, Oregon's a visiting team. We're going to let them call the toss. Which one have you called? All right, call it in the air. If I drop it, we flip it again, okay? That's, all right, he called heads is what he's called, and it is tails. Okay, so you won the toss call ball. They're taking the ball. Which way you want to kick it? Kicking it that way. If you'll turn around, your back's around like this. Colorado won the toss, and we'll receive at this end. Oregon will kick this way.
So Jack has now joined Mike Bellotti, the Oregon coach. So let's return to Jack.
And Brent, there's been a lot of talk leading into this game about Joey Harrington, Joey College. But Coach Bellotti, to win this game, how important is the performance of Mo Morris and Ontario Smith, your 2 great tailbacks?
Well, they have to run the ball well. Our line has to give him a chance, and that'll keep the pressure off of Joey, allow him to get the ball to our receivers.
Brent, we're about ready to tee it up down here. I've never seen electricity like we've got right now.
All right, Jack. Well, Colorado won the toss and said, we want the football. And usually they defer, don't they? But here's what quarterback Bobby Pesavano of the Buffaloes said he wanted to accomplish in the first series.
We're going to have to find out how they're going to play us, if they're really going to load the box up as much as we think. And we're just going to have to instill that physical attitude on that first drive and show them that that's the way the game's going to be for 4 quarters.
Now, Pesavento is not trying to change his style, but in our interviews prior to the Nebraska and Texas game, the cap was on backwards. So everyone on the team reminded him, Gary, leave it on backwards.
As well, but you know what's most important? Those 5 offensive linemen in front of him, not that half behind him.
So Jared Siegel out of Carmichael, California, will put the ball on the tee for the Ducks. Roman Hollowell is number 5, and Clyde Sorrell is number 20 back deep, and we'll get to see that offensive line with the first series of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. starting to close in on our right end zone here from our broadcast position. Al Ford, the referee, deep in the end zone behind the return man. And the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl is underway. This is Hollowell from the 3-yard line. He's got an alley. Good return to the 25-yard line. So Bobby Pesavento took over following the injury to starter Craig Oaks. And he has been Mr. Reliable. That's why he's maintained the job. And since he took over, he simply has not made the big mistake for Coach Barnett. In fact, his passing efficiency led the Big 12 this year. A senior quarterback about to take the first snap of his final game. You get in behind that awesome offensive line. They'll set down in the eye. They'll start the upperclassman Johnson on a slash to the 34-yard line. And here are the Tostitos starting lineups. Now, we mentioned Cortland Johnson in there, Purify and Brown. They're going to also play behind the great offensive line. This is the force. Number 65, Andre Gerard, as good a guard as there is in the country, an All-American this year. But this entire offensive line needs to be celebrated. They are missing Daniel Graham. He will sit out the start of this game. He was late for a team function. And Pesavento completes his first pass out of bounds to Derek McCoy, number 80, working against this Oregon defense. Now they must disrupt the force. They must just cause that offensive line some problems. Nebraska and Texas couldn't very often. Then bring them on. The 3 linebackers lead the Ducks in tackles. 75% of the time, Bowman 17 and Smith 6 will be on islands. They'll go man-to-man. That will allow defensive coordinator Nick Aliotti to put 8 or 9 men in the box to try and stop the run game. But Pesavento stood tall with his first pass. They come back with the running game and nothing much doing, and they were able to disrupt at that time as Steve Smith, the corner, comes up hard for the Ducks.
And Daniel Graham was back in the football game on that 2 tight end look for Colorado. How about Colorado, Brent? They take the ball to start the game, even though Daniel Graham, their best blocking and All-American tight end, isn't even on the field. That's how confident they are in their offense.
Short suspension. Pesavento in trouble. Incomplete, and a very good defensive look by the Ducks. You could see Darrell Wright, the defensive end out of Fort Pierce, Florida. He put the pressure on. He was in on top of Pesavento. In fact, Pesavento went down on the seat of his pants early in this game. And here's a passing situation. And wouldn't the Ducks love to keep Colorado in 3rd and 9 all game long? Johnson, the tailback, is an excellent receiver. Keep that in mind. It is 3rd down. Pesavento's second pass, pressure again. Battle incomplete. And that time it was a strong defensive effort by Gary McGraw, who is starting at safety ahead of Lewis. He also is out for disciplinary reasons, but Keith Lewis, the starting free safety, normally expected to be in the game quickly.
And great pressure again on Pesavento. The Ducks got in his face and forced Pesavento to throw the ball before he wanted to.
Colorado marches to midfield, 1 first down, then they stymie, and now Keenan Howry will attempt to give them field position here against Mark Mariscal. Has to reach down. On into the end zone, and it'll come on the 20-yard line. So we have a flag on the punt, 49-yard punt, we are told. So the flag has been picked up, and it will be Oregon's ball coming out from their own 20-yard line. And a homegrown hero from Portland, Oregon, and one of the finest quarterbacks in the country, known as Captain Comeback. 10 times in the 4th quarter he's brought the Ducks from behind, 24-3 as a starting quarterback for Oregon. Play fake, got time, goes for the home run on first down, out of bounds, incomplete. His fastest wide receiver, Sammy Parker, the intended target that time. As we take a look at the skill players, they'll use both of these running backs. Morris, he can get you to the outside. Smith, more of a cut runner once he gets into the hole. Now, this offensive line, they don't get the notoriety of Colorado, but they allowed only 11 sacks this year. They're quick, they're athletic. We watched them in practice set up screen passes. They get outside very well. We'll see how they hold up here today. Second down. The running play behind that offensive line. And Maurice Morris, the senior out of South Carolina, against this defensive front, which allowed only 3.8 yards a rush. And Morris got more than that time. Averaging 16 tackles a game. The three linebackers, Tuff, Johnson, and Walrus are there. Michael Lewis, he led this team attack. The only even minor controversy we had was when Joey Harrington looked at the tape and said, I don't see a star. He meant it as a compliment that they all play well. Lewis didn't take it that way. He said, I'll see him when the game starts. And number 31 is back at safety. There is Harrington's first completion, and it is a first down to the 31-yard line. The savvy and the experience. He goes to a tight end. Wrightster, they knew just what they needed to move the chains.
Colorado came with a blitz here and a quick throw from Joey. Three-step drop, little option route on the hot from the weak side. And actually, the defender Robinson threw him for a first down. He had him tackled short if he'd have brought down Webster with the first hit.
You can just see the experience of Harrington as he crouches down behind center and off the blitz. He looked right back over at Parker for the incompletion. And now it's time for the clear Nicoderm game solutions.
Both of these teams want to do the same thing, Brent. If they have the ball, they want to keep the ball. Have it, keep it. They want to stay balanced. A little more of a slant towards the pass with Oregon. More obviously run with Colorado. But neither team can stop running the ball throughout this whole game, especially Oregon. They must stay balanced and run the ball.
Second down and 10. He rolls the pocket hard to the right, deflected, incomplete. And the man who deflected at that time was Joey Johnson, the Hawk linebacker, getting over. And, you know, we talked to Joey Harrington about the first series. He approaches it somewhat differently. Listen to it.
When I come out that first series, I'm finding out about myself. I'm getting settled. I'm getting comfortable in my rhythm so that I can perform for the rest of the day.
He moved that pocket hard to the right that time, and he throws well on the move. We watched that in practice. He'll throw back against the grain. He's very effective. A la when Joe Montana, you might remember that Joe featured a lot with San Francisco. Third down and 10 now. Steps to the right. Receivers covered. Going to throw incomplete. But he prevented the sack that time. Oregon is forced to punt.
And I think Colorado only came with 3 people that time. And Bannon gets in there and puts pressure on Joey Harrington. The half roll. The reason this Oregon team has led the Pac-10 in the least amount of sacks the last 3 years is because the ability to move the pocket. Right, left, drop backs, 3 steps, 5 steps. That's what the quarterback is required to do.
There is the nation's leading punt returner, Roman Hollowell. He'll see if he can give the Buffaloes some field position. Arroyo is punting out a strong one. Hollowell on the big hop. Eludes the first man. He's quick. Dives to the 35-yard line where Pesavento and the Buffaloes will put it in play when we come back at the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. We are scoreless.
Dodge.
Gary Barnett does not tip his hand early. He kept his offensive package over on the sideline, and then he sends out Bobby Purify as his tailback. So number 42 comes in as tailback in this sequence. Purify cuts back to the hole and muscles his way to the 42-yard line. Now, Gary, let me ask you about the cat and mouse game. We have the defensive coordinator for Oregon upstairs, Aliotti, and Watson, the offensive coordinator for Colorado, also upstairs.
Sean Watson, it has to be patient with the run game. He showed it the last 2 times against Nebraska and Texas. Nick Aliotti doesn't want that cutback play, that play that just Purify just ran. That's what he thinks is the key to the running game, those running backs cutting back downhill.
So they have stressed all week in practice, keep the gaps filled. Here is a delay with Purify trying to get to the corner. Can he get it? He cannot. He is stopped by Wesley Mallard. You talk about a great name for a duck. How about Mallard, number 18, a senior walk-on from Columbus, Georgia, and one of the ringleaders of the defense.
Well, their linebackers are tacklers. The guys up front, kind of no-name guys up front, just try to make piles up front. The linebackers in their form and their rover, Webster, are the guys that are going to make the tackles in this look.
Now Johnson checks back in. He's the best receiver of the Colorado tailbacks. Hollowell turns around in his motion, and Pesavento looks short to Graham, and he's got it for the first down at the 46-yard line.
Looked like the same play that Oregon ran for a first down. You get the big body tight end and you match him up against a strong safety or a linebacker. You go past the first down marker and it's almost like throwing the ball in basketball into the post. Just make yourself big, throw it at his stomach, easy first down.
Purify checks back in at that deep tailback spot. Play fake. Pesavento buying some time, and beautiful coverage that time by Keith Lewis, who did not stay on the sideline long either. So both Graham and Lewis penalized for being late.
Bootleg pass coming around. You can see Lewis right there. He's almost beating him to his spot. When you've got 4 weeks to get ready for a game, Nick Aliotti says, I know what you guys are doing. I don't know if we can stop you, but we know what you're doing, and Lewis was ready.
Aliotti, once an assistant coach with the St. Louis Rams, then went to UCLA and moved up to work with his closest friend, Coach Bellotti, and is now the defensive coordinator. Pesavento hands off and Purify for maybe a yard. This will be 3rd and long. And again, we cannot stress how important it is for Oregon's defense to keep Colorado in 3rd and long.
Watch the All-American Andre Gerard right here. That's the mismatch. That guy is basically an NFL player just getting a pancake block. But those linebackers are meeting it downhill. They're forcing that running back to dodge, move. They're not hitting at full speed like we've seen the last couple games for Colorado.
Now here comes Cortland Johnson, the receiver, back in. So Purify and Johnson continue to substitute. 3rd down for Pesavento. He's blitzed. They wanted Johnson. A great catch on the screen. Johnson breaks free. 1 man to go, and he trips. He could have cut toward the sideline and hoped that the interference would knock out that last man, but instead he cut back. It is a 33-yard gain, a great call against pressure.
What a play by Pesavento. The middle linebacker is going to drop out, and his blitz is coming from the backside. It's actually a zone blitz. Watch Pesavento get rid of this ball at the last second, throw it to his spot, and you're right, Brent. I thought it was touchdown. I thought you were going to go touchdown like you usually do, but he cut back the wrong way.
First down inside the red zone for the first time. Here's Chris Brown on the field, his first carry. Remember now, Brown has rushed for 9 touchdowns in his last 2 games. This program reminder coming up next on our New Year's Day triple-header. Primetime showdown of the Big Easy. Big Ten champ Illinois will take on the SEC champ LSU in the Nokia Sugar Bowl. That's always a great show. Gary and I were down there the last few years. We always enjoy the Big Easy and the Nokia Sugar Bowl. Here is the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl with a couple of teams. Well, the winner is going to come out of here with bragging rights and pull hard for Nebraska. Here's Brown on a cutback. He muscles his way inside the 10, and there's the strength of this running game before Smith can bring him down. And now we are suddenly seeing that power take charge here on Colorado's 2nd series of the game.
Watch Gerard again. This is the play. Down, 65, kick out. Watch this one again. Basic play, one of about 4 or 5 plays. Boom. And Drum does a great job also, the fullback. You follow Drum, you follow number 65. I think you'll see an offense that's almost a mismatch for any college football team.
First down and goal inside the 10-yard line. Brown battling for the end zone is stopped at the 3-yard line, and we check in with Jackaroo. Jack.
So now, Brent, we've seen all three of the running backs for the Colorado Buffaloes and all three of their fortes. As you said, Cortland Johnson the best in passing situations. And then, of course, Bobby Purified out in the wide open territory. And I asked Sean Watson, well, what about Chris Brown? He says, you'll see him in the red zone. He's the toughest when we need to make the most important yards.
Brown, the Northwestern transfer from Naperville, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. Buffaloes in that power line, pounds to the 1-yard line, and it will be 3rd and goal with Lewis, free safety, stopping him shy of the end zone, and the field judge has to break up a wide receiver downfield. Matt Brunson had gone down there to tangle up with one of the D-backs.
One of the unique things of college football occasionally is teams will flop their line. Colorado is one of those teams. The strong side goes with the tight end. Gerard and Rogers will go with Graham on every play.
Can anybody stop him on 3rd and goal? Touchdown, the fullback, number 33, Brandon Drum, the junior from Anchorage, Alaska, powers into the end zone for the first score of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, and the Buffaloes jump ahead. Now, Pat Brome has replaced Jeremy Flores as the kicker. Flores is also being penalized, and he did not start this game like Graham. So Brome adds the extra point, and Colorado leads it 7-0. But it was set up on this screen pass. Watch the one-handed grab by Cortland Johnson. We told you of the running backs, he was the best receiver of the trio. He certainly showed you why. And from there, the Buffaloes pound it in behind the offensive line. They go to the fullback from Alaska. Timeout. 48. They leave a motorhome in the great Pacific Northwest, and they drive to the young man's games. And of course, the young man says, I'm not the best athlete, though, out of Alaska. That's those mushers up there. So he likes to kid himself. He's a fine young man. Here's the kickoff now by Colorado. It'll be fielded back near the goal by Alan Amundsen. And he's whacked at the 20-yard line.
Amundsen's the fastest player, fastest of all the tailbacks for Oregon, but you can see the Colorado strength so far is the difference. Oregon must stay with their game plan. Jeff Tedford, their future coach of Cal, and the offensive coordinator coaching his last game here for Oregon, must stick with the run game and stay balanced.
So Joy Harrington, number 3, brings the offense out, and Ontario Smith, the transfer from Tennessee, checks in as his running back. He'll get the first call. Cuts back in that hole, slashes to about the 23-yard line. Justin Bannon makes the stop. Well, aerial coverage of today's game is provided by Tostitos. As you look down here at Sun Devil Stadium on an absolutely gorgeous afternoon. You could not ask for better football weather than what we've had, not only today, but for the Colorado and Oregon players as they prepared for this game. The weather for the practices was just ideal also. And such a well-organized bowl game. Second down now for Harrington. Short drop, fires slant, caught, first down. Parker breaks free. He's the fastest man. Colorado's got to close. They do, but he crosses midfield that time. Sean Tufts, an inside linebacker out of Inglewood, Colorado, gets back, but it's a 32-yard gain.
Boy, bad angle from the corner that time. Just a simple slant pass. Watch the corner technique here. When you take a bad angle, I think it's Snead. Look at that bad angle right there. That is a short play that turns into a big play. And boy, oh boy, Colorado lucky he doesn't take it to the house with that speed.
Sean Tufts shows you great speed, and Coach Barnett and the rest of his staff are very high on that sophomore. They say he's got a fine future. From the 47, Play fake, and back to work goes Harrington. Incomplete. And he overshoots his running back that time. Ontario Smith coming out.
Let's take a look at what these two teams want to do if they have their way calling plays. There's three tailbacks, right, that we've seen. They want to run power, power, power with those three tailbacks, Colorado, and then mix in a little bit of the pass. Oregon, when they run the ball, do it a little differently. A little bit of a finesse running game, and that sets up the pocket and play action game like the matchup he had right there. He just overthrew the ball.
Jason Willis and Keith Allen check into the game. I happen to watch young Allen during the pregame warm-up, freshman from Torrance, California. He made some nifty catches. I'm sure the coaches observed that. Second down now. Harrington straight back, fires complete. First down to the 25-yard line, and there's Jason Willis, the junior from Los Angeles.
Great read this time from Joey Harrington. Colorado goes with a zone look. Watch to the inside, drop back for Joey. He's got his eyes on the left side. A push off from the corner, lets the linebacker clear and delivers it just as the receiver comes into the open territory. You want to hit those receivers as they enter the hole, not after they're already in the hole, and Joey does it so well.
The last time he was on this field, Joey Harrington threw for 6 touchdowns against Arizona State. He's now at the 25-yard line. Looking against Colorado, has good time and dumps it off, and it is dropped at the 20-yard line by Willis. And Jackaroo, we had a couple players shaken up there.
Brent, you know how important it is that this offensive line stay healthy for the Colorado Buffaloes. First, it was Andre Girard came off. They thought he had a knee problem. It was just a faulty brace. Once he got rid of that, he was fine. Then Justin Bates, they had to check his knee as well. He is okay. They're not going to keep either of these players out of this game. They're both, according to the trainers, perfectly all right.
I was all ready to yell fumble until you reach back there. Good grab, Jack. It takes a microphone to talk to us. Okay. Second down and 10. And Smith is tripped up on a beautiful play by Moore. The free safety from Los Angeles came up and tripped him up. He had one of the 3 interceptions against Chris Sims in the Big 12 championship game.
Well, Lewis was coming off the slot on one side, and it looked like Oregon had the right play call going the opposite way. Watch Lewis come right here this way, and the run is the opposite way. So the play call was right, but Moore comes right in there and just takes on the blocker and submarines the run. Wonderful play. 3rd and long.
Lewis has to keep an eye on Peel. You saw from behind the tight end. He's a good one. This is 3rd down now for the Ducks. Joey fires, got it, touchdown! Keenan Howry, the junior wide receiver who makes one big play after another. Let the fireworks begin.
What a wonderful pass route. A little shake to the outside. Watch him come down on Lewis. Shake to the outside, then cut right upfield. Lewis, a safety, bites on the out route, and look at that throw, Brent. It's like handing the ball off on 3rd and 13. Boy, is that nice.
Sigel ties it up. So we've still got 3:48 to go, and look what's happening. Howry, a big play receiver for Joey Harrington. He had plenty of time, no pressure. That beautiful pattern. Gets in deep on Robinson. Touchdown. In New York, which was paid for by boosters, cost him some $250,000. And a walker on a Manhattan street recognized him, and he said, "That's you on the side of the building." Joey said, "Yes, it is." The guy said, "Cool," and walked away. A typical New Yorker. Here's the kickoff now with our Tostitos Fiesta Bowl tied at 7. Here's Hollowell. Hollowell to the 29-yard line. Let's check in with Jackaroo. Jack?
Brendan, 5'10", 212 pounds. This man, Keenan Howry, admits that he has average size hands. But he has said that my success is not according to my hands. He says that it's in his eyes. He says it's all about focusing the ball, looking at it all the way until it goes into his hands. Now, if you do that, Gary, you've got to have a pretty good target to throw at if you're Joey Harrington.
Yeah, and if you got a guy that can throw it to you like that, too, you can watch it go right into your hands, too.
Purify will open it, running back for Colorado. Play fake. Pesavento. And McCoy is interfered with. 2 penalty flags are thrown. Field judge, line judge pick it up immediately as McCoy was stumbling.
Good play by Bowman that time. That would have been a touchdown had he not grabbed. As we listen for the call, McCoy, he did a hitch and go about 10 yards down, and that was a touchdown. Great call.
Pass interference on the defense, 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Watch McCoy come down about 10 yards, hitch, look back, and go. And if he's not grabbed, a good play by the senior Bowman, because that would have been 6 points.
So the ball spotted at the 45-yard line of Colorado.
Just when you load up to stop the run, that's what you get. That's what a good coordinator does.
Now on first down. They'll come back with Purify. He cuts back, and Oregon, they stayed right in those slots. Garrett Graham makes the stop. We're at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. And we are tied at 7 at the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. We've had action in the first quarter. A one-handed grab by Johnson for the Buffaloes set up the drum touchdown. Then it was Harrington driving the Ducks for the tire. Oury gets open, and we are deadlocked at 7, just inside of 3 minutes here in the opening quarter. Fake, Pesavento waiting, going deep down the middle, and battle for it. Incomplete at the 5-yard line. Cormier, the intended target. Steve Smith and Bowman were both back deep.
Double post. Inside receiver goes post. Outside receiver Cormier goes post right behind him. And Pesavento was a little late throwing that ball and threw it way too high. It was a pop-up. Everybody had a chance for this one. Good defense by Smith, though, keeping his hand in there and not getting another pass interference like his partner did the play before. 3rd and long, though, now. You don't run the ball on 2nd down. 3rd and long.
So another 3rd and long, but remember they bailed themselves out once on the screen to Johnson. This time they're going to run. Nothing doing. The Ducks were ready. Igor Olshansky, the redshirt freshman from San Francisco, makes the stop for the Ducks.
A little bit of a new play that time for Colorado. One they probably put in during the 4-week layoff of the delayed counter play, almost a sweep play to the outside. Oregon's quickness up front is giving Colorado's offensive line some problems.
Mariscal on the field to punt, and Keenan Oury, who scored the touchdown, standing at the Oregon 14-yard line, ready to return. Oury slips the first man, but not the 2nd and 3rd. Down at the 15-yard line. Well, tomorrow our Bowl Fest continues as Florida will take on the ACC Conference champions Maryland in the FedEx Orange Bowl. Coverage begins live at 8 Eastern. There's a story coming out of Florida, and that quarterback Rex Grossman will not start the game. He was apparently late for curfew several days ago. Turned himself in, we are told. So in all likelihood, Brock Berlin will start. And what a story that is, because everybody says in Florida that Brock Berlin is going to transfer to Miami. But he gets a start apparently for the Gators. There is that flanker screen trying to stun Colorado on that far side of the field. Roderick Sneed and Michael Lewis are there.
Oregon has not yet got the ball to Justin Peel, their outstanding tight end. That'll be another find later in this game. Number 84, good receiver. He's caught 29 passes this year, 18 of them for touchdowns or first downs. He's a playmaker.
2nd down and 4 for the Ducks. Slipped on the cutback, and this will be 3rd and a couple. Morris, the ball carrier that time for the Ducks. Well, when you look at the total yards, it's almost as even as the scoreboard. 99 yards for Oregon, 90 for Colorado, and deadlocked at 7. So Coach Bellotti, who has done one of the grand coaching jobs in the country, as has his counterpart across the way, Gary Barnett. And Colorado, with the record showing that they improved more than any team in college football this year. Only 3 down linemen this time for the Buffaloes. Joey has time and has to throw it away as his receivers were well covered, and the Ducks now are forced to punt.
It's that 3 down lineman package that was successfully used against Texas and Chris Sims. 3 men rushing, but still able to get a little pressure on Joey Harrington as he lets his ball go. Well, he's very fortunate that that wasn't called roughing the quarterback by Brayton this there. He comes up and warns him and says, you do that again, I'm going to call the flag on you.
Royale. Here's Hollowell. Looking for daylight, and he's into Oregon territory. So Pesavento and the Buffaloes will be playing with a short field, good field position coming up here in the closing seconds of the first quarter.
Let's see if Colorado doesn't come back with Chris Brown now and try to establish that power downhill running game. Brown has been the guy that can really deliver the blow from that tailback position.
Up behind Drum. The hand to Chris. Brown muscles his way across the 40-yard line, and this is what Colorado wants to be sitting in. 2nd and short, and now they can go to work. Oregon had been stopping them on 1st down regularly. So we've come to the end of the first quarter, and our presentation of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl will return after this message and a word from our ABC station.
A lot of 8 and sometimes 9-man fronts. I think they're trying to open the game up a little bit. I'm not surprised they've gone back to Chris Brown, though. They want to establish that inside run game.
Yeah, and Brown is averaging 5 yards a carry as we open the second quarter. And number 22, the big man, against both the Cornhuskers and the Longhorns on that cutback. And again, Aliotti and the Oregon coaches alerted their defenders all week long. Stay in your gaps. Don't leave them, because on the cutback you could make the stop, as David Moretti, the middle linebacker from Pleasanton, California, did that time.
Brent, I was out to practice the day before yesterday, which is usually a light practice. No real pads except for shoulder pads. They don't wear their pants and their thigh boards. They were practicing tackling on the day before a game.
Well, here is 3rd and short behind that talented offensive line, and I don't believe he got it. I think the Ducks stood tall down there. And Aliotti has to be delighted, along with head coach Bellotti, with the performance of this defense. Kevin Mitchell and Olshansky stuff the play. Watch this.
Inside, too. Watch that off defensive tackle, Zach Fratter, right there. Number 54. That pushes it, and those linebackers are standing right there. Great team defense.
Now, I think Bellotti was alerting them to watch the fake. They are inside the Oregon 40-yard line, and you never know what Coach Barnett is going to come up with. Alvary's back deep. They would need to reach about the 38-yard line for a 1st down. Mariscal is back in punt formation, however.
Delay of the game, 5-yard penalty.
They're going to bring it back now for Mariscal, and he's going to attempt to drop this one down inside the 20-yard line. And here are our 2 outstanding punt returners. Alvary's back there. You can see what he averaged, and Hollowell, of course, led the NCAA this year with an average of 18 yards of return. But Howery, who caught a touchdown pass thrown by Harrington earlier in this game, he's every bit as dangerous back there deep. He's standing on the 10-yard line. High punt by Mariscal. Fair catch is the signal inside the 20. Good punt. So there's a penalty flag late. Was there contact made? The field judge came over.
Going to be the halo call. Right to the right of the punter, catching it right here. Watch this. Well, that's easy. It's an easy call. He's within 2 yards.
Be first down 10.
So that'll bring the ball just beyond the 20. Timeout. Contributions to the scholarship funds of each of the universities represented in the Bowl Championship Series. Here it is, Oregon and Colorado in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. We are tied at 7. The Oregon Ducks coming out from their own 20. Play fake. Harrington goes hard right down the field for the home runs. Got Parker. He's in a foot race. They won't catch him. Touchdown Ducks. An 80-yarder. Oh, the home run ball. You can't beat it.
Throw a ball any better than that. He hit Parker right on the dead run, like a baton race in track. That's how nice that ball was thrown.
Siegel, the freshman from Sacramento. And the speedster Parker is causing them a lot of trouble. He has now caught 3 passes for 117 yards.
Play action pass in the small screen right there. That's Joey Harrington, a little bootleg action. Now watch Parker runs right by Strickland. Look at this ball thrown. Like a baton handoff, wasn't it?
Wasn't that beautiful?
Beautiful.
I thought both of his touchdown passes were right on the money.
And Parker runs a nice route. Comes out 12 yards, little shake to the outside. There's no free safety. And he just tracks this ball perfectly into his hands. Not going to catch him, Strickland.
Oh, I'll tell you, Joey Harrington, he's a good jazz pianist. He's playing a merry tune right now, folks. He is at the top of his game. Sammy Parker, the fastest. The wideouts gets free for the bomb. And now the Buffaloes find themselves behind.
And that's something Pesavento has not had to do. Play from behind since he's been the starting quarterback. That's why he's completing 63, 64% of his passes. They've been dominating the games.
.13 to go in the half. 21 points scored already. We expected this game could get up into the 60s. Both these teams average over 30 points a game. But I think the main story right now has been the performance of the Oregon defense in filling those gaps. It'll be Sorrell coming out. Short of the 20-yard line. We mentioned that Harrington was an accomplished jazz pianist. Give a listen, folks. That Oregon defense jumps in. We got a penalty flag down on the game. But you know, when you talk to Joey Harrington about his piano playing ability, I'll tell you why it's unusual, folks, because most talented athletes they go out and practice ball. They don't practice the piano. But he said it was all mom. She made me stick in there in the house every afternoon, and he's happy for it now, believe me.
He spent his time wisely on the field too, learning how to throw. This guy is a talented thrower, and he's learned how to manage the game as a quarterback.
So the clock mismanagement by Colorado. And now Johnson, and he's got daylight. Reaching toward a first, very close with Keith Lewis making the stop.
Oregon is stopping the run pretty well because the depth of the linebackers, they're staying back a little deeper than we saw against Texas or Nebraska, and they're hitting that ball. In practice, they were coached over and over again to shuffle, 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 don't overrun, and then run to the ball. They're trying to stop the comeback, cutback play, and then go make the tackle.
They're an underdog here on 2nd and short against this offensive line. The fullback should lead you right to it. They're going to throw out of it. And they waste it down. And let's check in with Jackaroo. Jack?
And Brent, I am honored to be surrounded by these young men from Tower Ladder Company 13 in New York City. Joe Graziano has been elected the spokesman. What do you think of this game so far, Joe?
Great game. It's really nice to be here. We're having a great time. I'd like to thank the people of Arizona and the Fiesta Bowl.
And I think the only thing that makes it kind of a somber and sad day, Brent, is some of their fallen brethren don't get a chance to see that game today.
Yes, indeed, Jack. And now I believe Oregon stopped them again. I cannot believe what they're doing in these short yardage situations. And because they were struggling, Gary, that's why I was surprised that the Buffaloes went pass on 2nd down, because they're having some problems. And now that they failed again, they're going to have to punt. Olshansky, along with Mallard, makes the stop for the Ducks.
I think they were so confident they could pick up that 1st down on 3rd down that they said, let's try to get a big one. Didn't work.
Now Auer will have a little breathing room, but Mariscal hung it high and allowed his coverage to get down. Boy, Colorado's leaving themselves vulnerable with 4 men out wide. But they keep it clean. Another good punt. They give him 2 yards that time and then close in around the 22-yard line. Forward progress will be marked right there. So we'll take a break. Joey Harrington and Oregon lead it by 7. Timeout.
Expert advice that's objective, uncomplicated, and not driven by commission. Honda, a versatile family of cars, minivans, and SUVs. And Aflac. Ask about it at work.
You don't want to overstate the case for a series being important in the first half of a football game. But folks, Colorado's defense has to be a little uneasy right now. Harrington's getting the speed man. Number 1, Parker loose. He's throwing the ball right on the money. He's in that comfort zone, that zone you don't want a quarterback to settle in if you're Colorado. Now Morris is his running back. Short drop, fires complete, and I'm telling you right now, folks, Harrington feels that he can complete any pass he wants right now, Gary.
18 plays so far in the football game. 14 of them have been pass plays. You got a 5th-year senior quarterback who's hot. 3-step drops. It's almost impossible for Colorado to get to this guy. He throws it too quickly, and with the half rolls and play action passes, very tough to get to him. They're going to have to cover people.
2nd down and 6, and you cannot overemphasize as Joey changes it at the line. Colorado switches back out, so they will run Morris. But just take a listen to Coach Mike Bellotti on the input of Joey Harrington into the game plan.
There's a tremendous amount of exchange of information. You know, he wants to know why, and we're always doing things about, you know, who we're keying, why we're checking certain things, and he could be a coach easily. He could walk right in and coach right now, and that's what our quarterbacks generally do. But Joey is probably special in that regard.
You know, they say David Carr of Fresno State will be the first quarterback drafted in the NFL draft, but folks, you're looking at the 2nd, and who knows? Who knows who's going to wind up number 1. This is a very impressive performance so far. 3rd down now. There's that short snap drop. 1st down. Parker again reaching toward the 40-yard line. They cannot stop Mr. Parker. Let's check in with Jackaroo.
Brent, you've talked about the many nicknames that this man Joey Harrington has, from Joe Heisman to Joe College. But it was at this game right here on this field against Arizona State that Joey Harrington got one name, Captain Comeback. Bring his team back into a double overtime victory by 1 point over Arizona State. But his teammates say that the private nickname from that game, the General.
Yeah, double overtime, beating the Sun Devils. And they run, but it is well cut off that time. So Morris without much room to run in as we take a look at our quarterback comparison here.
Well,
Gary.
Bobby Pesavento needs the running game to come through. They do not have the firepower at wide receiver, nor does Bobby have the experience that Joey Harrington has. Harrington's on fire. He feels the game. The only thing going well for Colorado defensively is they're stopping the run. At least they're keeping them one-dimensional. What if that comes back and haunts them? That's their problem.
But what a dimension.
You bet.
Harrington's already thrown for 183 yards in this game. He's looking more, and he's got more. And tackle is missed. First down across midfield that time. And he uses Jason Willis, the junior, again. So Jason Willis has been one of his favorite targets.
Terrence Wood, nickelback, comes in, just a quick hitch, trying to pick up half the yards. Second and long, they go for a quick hitch, they get a first down. Poor tackling. Often happens in bowl games. They haven't played in 4 weeks. Right now, the defensive backs for Colorado are intimidated by the quickness of the release for Joey Harrington and the speed of Parker.
The only solution is for Colorado to get some pressure on the quarterback. He is standing there in a comfort zone. He does it again. He's got all day. And that was thrown to the backside of Parker. The Oregon fans wanted interference, but he had cut the post, and it was thrown to the other side. Strickland, a cover man on the backside. But, folks, Harrington's just standing up. His uniform is still ivory white.
Well, when you see Parker run this post, Harrington's not quite sure what's in front of Parker. He doesn't know if there's another safety there, so he plays it safe and keeps it down the hash mark. Parker takes it in a different angle, and that was a good no call. The quickness of his release and his feet, you can tell how well he's schooled.
Second down and 10. The draw play. Morris slips a tackle. First down, out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Sean Tufts, the running back, out of bounds. Well, it's time for our Aflac trivia question, and this week's question is, who is Oregon's all-time leading tackler? I know some of you Duck fans up there in the Northwest, you know the answer to that one. Some of the other folks don't. First down at 10. He was a good one. Went on in the NFL. Played about a decade. They empty the backfield out. That's how well this offensive line is doing. Then they throw Smith the screen pass, and not much doing there. It'll be second down and 10. So with 7:56 to go in the first half, Oregon leading Colorado on the strength of Joey Harrington's right arm. He is 10 of 18 for 198 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was the first one. Officially, 79 yards to Parker on this one. That ties the record here at the Fiesta Bowl. And now Harrington driving the Ducks again. And if you're calling plays for Oregon, you just say, let's keep putting it up.
Just dial one. He's hot.
Second down. They'll run the draw play again. Not much doing there. And Smith is swallowed up, surprisingly, that they called the run play. Fluellen doing a good job.
Well, they hit the big draw play for the first down on the one before. Tried to come back with it, but that time Colorado was right there. The secondary looks intimidated to me, Brent. I don't blame them, really, but they look intimidated. And of the completions that Harrington has, 10 of them have been perfect throws.
First and 10 this quarter is brought to you by Monster.com. Third down and 11.
Here's Peel right here. Still hasn't gotten the ball.
Joey looking in zone. Parker again. Deflected and out of bounds. Boy, Parker made that grab too, but he was out of bounds. They almost dialed in another one. Roderick Sneed was able to deflect it, but Parker somehow able to grab it, but out of bounds.
This was very close. Ball was tipped. I thought he threw it into coverage. Little tricky on his end zone right here. 2 different covers. I think that was a good call. He did not have the ball until his right foot came down.
4th down and 11 at the Colorado 32-yard line.
Watch for the punt. Joey Harrington can punt.
Has not punted once in his college career. High snap. He punted in high school, left-footed, and it's out of bounds inside the 20-yard line.
Joey, you made me look bad. I said you could punt.
Well, but he did that with a left foot. He'll come back with a right foot later. You know.
The snap really messed this thing up for him.
It was a high snap.
Yep.
Brings it down. Well, they said he had a good left hand when he played the piano, too. Oregon leads at timeout. So Bobby Pesavento under center here, down a touchdown. They'll throw on 1st down. Wide open to his big All-American tight end, the winner of the Mackey Award, and Daniel Graham for 11 yards. Now, we ask you the Aflac trivia question. Who is Oregon's all-time leading tackler? And as you look at Daniel, here's the reason why. It was his father, Tom Graham, the all-time leading tackler up at Oregon. And of course, playing for the Denver Broncos, Daniel raised in that area, and he decided to go up the road to Boulder. And Daniel Graham, the winner of the Mackey Award this year, as the best tight end in the country. He just picked up a 1st down for the Buffaloes. Play fake, Pesavento rolling hard. Tosses, incomplete. Had a crossing pattern coming that time and elected to throw out of it toward Graham again.
Well, the second major story of this game, besides Joey Harrington throwing the ball so accurately and quickly, has been the run stop from that Oregon defense. You know, Brent, coming into this game, they're only giving up 121 yards a game rushing, 2nd best in the Pac-10. Their speed up front and those linebackers they're standing very deep and they're hitting it more downhill. Much better system against this power.
2nd and 10, and Brown is the running back. Picked up a couple of yards, and it will be 3rd and long again. And now it's time for our AT&T game summary. There you can see the rush yards and what a difference, but that's not the story of the game.
Well, I said balance was key, but balance and only getting 59 rush yards for Colorado was not expected. What has distorted this game has been the passing and how hot Harrington is. Someone down. I think it is Gerard. Is it Gerard?
It is Gerard who is down.
Oh, my.
Well, Saturday ABC Sports drops the puck on another exciting National Hockey League season. 3 great matchups. So we'll have some regional coverage. Gerard being helped up. Hopefully not at all serious. You'll see the Avalanche, Red Wings, Rangers, Penguins, and Capitals, Bruins. Action begins Saturday, live at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on ABC.
Looks like he's favoring that right side, either his knee or his ankle, as he comes off the field right here. Tough football game. Defensive tackle Frieder on the other side, favoring his.
Well, here's your 3rd down and 8 on the 32-yard line. Graham to the right side of the formation. Pesavento steps up in the pocket, goes McCoy, intercepted by Smith. 45, cut toward midfield. Breaks free, and he is down in Colorado territory at the 48-yard line. Steve Smith, the senior from Rancho Palos Verdes.
Bobby Pesavento is out of his comfort zone. He's used to that running game going. He's used to 3rd and short. He tries to go back, nothing there, and then tries to make a big play. He's been avoiding trying to force things because that running game was working so well. Today, it's not.
14-7, the Ducks lead, and they got a short field when we come back. And even when he sprints to the right, he has not been touched except on the first series in this game. Remember that one lineman got him, threw him down late? Hasn't been close to being sacked yet, and whacked only a couple of times. So now 1st and 10, and the pitch man is wide open. Smith Crosses the 45-yard line with Johnson making the
One of the reasons Oregon is giving up less sacks than anyone in the Pac-10 the last 3 years is because of the diversity of their pass offense. 3-step, 5-step, an offensive line that believes in the quarterback, and a system that keeps you off balance.
Adams, Schmidt, Weaver, Forrester, Chambers. They're the big fellas up front, and they're doing the job right now for Harrington, who's thrown for almost 200 yards. The Colorado defense must have a stop. 4:27. Time to Parker. First down. Had him right on the first down marker. And what's the situation with Gerard, Jack?
Well, Brent, believe it or not, Andre had his kneecap pop out. They popped it back in. They retaped his knee, and he is ready to go back in. That's one tough offensive lineman.
Better believe it. Anticipate him being one of the first offensive linemen selected in the NFL draft. Fellow out of Texas, puts his game face on. First down and 10 for Harrington and the Ducks at the Colorado 36-yard line. Play fake, sprint right, got time. Goes outside, Alray, incomplete. Well, Thursday night, the granddaddy of them all, the undefeated Hurricanes of Miami. Face Heisman Trophy winner Eric Crouch and number 2 Nebraska for the national championship. The Rose Bowl presented by AT&T. Thursday live at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, home of the Bowl Championship Series. And of course, the winner of this game will be pulling hard for Mr. Crouch and the Cornhuskers. They would like to wind up with a piece of the national championship. Kind of interesting, the Associated Press trophy arrived here in the Phoenix area, and several of the players posed for pictures with it, and good motivation. It's second down and 10 for Harrington and the Ducks. Come back with the running play, and Smith to the 21-yard line, a first down. So just as Colorado starts to look past, the Ducks decide, let's come back with a run, and that was for 15 yards.
A little bit of their own medicine here. Counter play to the backside, counter Trey Ontario Smith. Runs with passion is what scouting report on this guy. Perimeter guy, great lateral movement. It can make people miss. You saw it all right there.
Vince Okru, co-defensive coordinator with Tom McMahon, who is upstairs, and you can see the frown. Things not going well. First down and 10. Here's Harrington again. He's going to throw back to the tight end. So for the first time today, Peel catches the ball and a first down at the 10-yard line. And Tom McMahon, the other defensive coordinator for the Buffaloes, he is upstairs. Here's a young man who has battled and overcome cancer. He played wide receiver up at the University of Montana when they won their first pair of Division I AA games for the Grizzlies in Missoula. And congratulations to Coach Joe Glenn and the entire Montana team up there. They won it again this year, beating Furman and Chattanooga, and they look very efficient. Division I AA has a tournament. The handoff now to Smith. Smith cuts down at the 6-yard line. Second down.
Roger
Coming up on the
made the tackle there. Excuse me, Brent.
Coming up on the Coors Light halftime report, John Saunders and Terry Bowden will bring you scores and highlights of the early New Year's Day Bowls. John and Terry will preview the Rose Bowl presented by AT&T. All this and more on the Coors Light halftime show from Anaheim, California.
The reason I wanted to point it out is another secondary guy making a tackle on the run game. So off balance is Colorado with this quick passing game. A little bit of different roll right, roll left, but look at how Harrington is attacking the field. He's throwing everywhere. Every box is filled. Deep. I love that they're throwing deep. That loosens him up, puts a scare, but look at those quick passes and how well he's distributing the ball down the field.
This is second down. Peel is flexed off the line to the left. There's that shovel pass. Touchdown, Oregon. Walking in is the running back Ontario Smith, who transferred to Eugene from Tennessee. So the interception thrown by Pesavento results in Oregon's third touchdown of the first half.
We've seen seen this a lot in college football. Spread out real wide and do the little shovel pass. Give this one to Jeff Tedford, offensive coordinator. Well designed. He knew he was coming to it once he got inside the 10-yard line.
Jeff Tedford's last game at Oregon. He'll go to California as their next head coach. Jared Siegel adds the extra point. But it was this interception. And this is why they put the corners on an island at Oregon. They are able to get the job done. Watch number 6 against McCoy, underthrown a bit. Makes the pick. Oregon working with a short field. The shovel pass. And after the defender had committed, Smith walked into the end zone. The Ducks are up by 14. Timeout. North Carolina, brought to you by Tostitos, and the happiest of New Year's go out to our servicemen and women at our bases in this country and also overseas as we begin the new year and wish them all nothing but the best. Here it is, Oregon leading Colorado 21-7, and I guess we have answered the question. Can you maintain that level that Colorado showed us against Nebraska and Texas? With almost a month off, it is so hard to stay at that peak level. Kickoff is fielded at the 6 by Sorrell. Sorrell cuts back and battles his way to the 25-yard line. Well, again, a reminder that tomorrow our Bowl Fest continues. It'll be Florida. Rex Grossman will have to come off the bench in that one. He's been sat down for breaking curfew up against the amazing Maryland Terrapins. What a job Coach Friedgen did with Maryland in the ACC.
Colorado must be very careful here. They're not put together to run a 2-minute drill. Remember, backup quarterback Bobby Pesavento is not the starter at the beginning of the year. Craig Oaks was. This is not his game.
Wants to set the screen, which he does to Cortland Johnson, and this is a good call.
Yes.
Out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Let the rush close in. That's the second time that these two have hooked up on a good-looking screenplay, and they make it work again. So Pesavento is, well, he's 5 of 12 in this game, but he has thrown that one interception, and he would like to get something. Would like to get something going here before the halftime intermission. Down by 2 touchdowns right now. Pesavento, who transferred from Miami of Ohio to a junior college, then enrolled at Colorado. This is Hollowell in motion behind him. He'll wind up as a slot man to the left. Pesavento has time, and it's dropped by Graham. Sort of thrown a little bit behind him, but still I think the big fella probably feels that he should have made that catch at midfield.
Tight end over the middle of the field. Oregon at all times knows where this playmaker is. You have a linebacker on him. You have the safety on him right there, Webster. When I watched practice, they did not, Brent, make one mental mistake when they were going against all the different formations that Colorado shows. This team was very focused on defense, ready to handle the different formations from Colorado.
Second down and 10. Time to throw and misfires, and Graham was double covered in the middle of the field, and he couldn't quite squeeze it into him, so he overthrew.
Yeah, they are ready for Graham. I'll tell you, he's right here, left side, coming across. They're going to cross somebody across the other way this time. Slant, they're trying to get the ball to Daniel Graham, but you can see pretty crowded, nowhere to really throw the ball. Safety right there in the middle, just hoping Pesavento will throw him the ball. He had to throw high. Lucky got away with that one.
Hollowell in. He'll go out to the left along with wide receiver Matt Brunson. McCoy is down to the right. Third down. And now it is 4th down, and Colorado will have to punt it away, and they're going to give Harrington one last crack. There'll be time on the clock, too. So not a good series for Colorado. And Joey says, let's go. This is what veteran quarterbacks wait for. The closing minutes of the half in the game. They got their passing game working. They know they can strike downfield with the speed receiver. Mariscal, who has punted well in this game. Oury will attempt to give the Ducks field position here at the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. returnable. But it was not to be, as the cover man Moore, number 7, came off the block well. Gary?
Well, give credit to the offensive line, but also to the game plan. Different types of drops, different types of passes, a 3-step, a half roll, a throwback, and then when you get inside, a little trickery right here, the shovel pass. Colorado doesn't know if they're coming or going right now. They've got a hot quarterback delivering the ball.
Morris checks in as the tailback. They continue to shuttle their 2 running backs. And prior to the snap, play was stopped. And we have not had many penalties in this game. 3 against Colorado and only 1 against the Ducks. And of course, this one will go against them. And again, a Southeastern Conference
Before
crew.
the ball was snapped, movement by the offensive line, 5 yards, still first down.
Well, aerial coverage of today's game is provided by Tostitos, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. And here on this field next year, a year from now, they will play the national championship game. They played one. That means that they will have come full circle with the 4 bowls that are involved. Tennessee won a championship here. In fact, it was the first BCS title game. They beat Florida State. Peerless Price was the offensive player of that game. One of his records has been tied here today. Draw play. Morris made the most of it, didn't he? Out to the 29-yard line. You've really got to like the way Oregon has played here in the first half. Very well coached. They have followed their game plan to the letter. And Bellotti, who has become the most successful program coach in the Pac-10 over the last decade, putting the show on the road. The facilities have been upgraded up in Eugene. They trade off the tradition that Graham and Dan Fouts and all the rest of those great players started up there, and now they're winning games. Here's a handoff to the 30-yard line, and that was Morris again, stopped by Michael Lewis.
Oregon's playing it conservatively, 21-7. They don't want to make a key mistake and get the Buffaloes back in the game with a cheapie. Colorado, I think, is going to take. Did they take the timeouts? I think they're going to force them to take a timeout and have to punt the ball if they don't pick it up.
You know me, Gary, I'd go for the juggler.
I know. I know. Might get your own juggler though, while you're trying to do that.
That's true. Let's go down to Jackaroo, Jack.
Hey, Brent, I want to take you to page 36 of the Oregon Football Guide. You want to meet Joey Harrington? Well, inside, they tell you all sorts of things that you don't know about him. Did you know that he can't live without his feather bed? Or maybe that his favorite actor and actress are De Niro and Sandra Bullock. And the most important one when traveling, one thing he has to have, just like me. But when he said one thing people don't know, I'm a dork. I'll tell you what, I'll take that dork on my team any day.
You got that right, my friend. So, you know, he plays the piano well. We gave you a taste of that. And I asked him why he stuck with the piano when he was young.
That's Mom. I, of course, wanted to go play ball with the guys out in the street rep. You know, we lived half a block away from a big playground. But, you know, Mom said, you know, just play 15 minutes. You know, get 15 minutes of practice in before you go play. And it's paid off.
Bill Evans is one of his favorite all-time piano players. And, of course, he spent some time, Evans did, with Miles Davis, Cannonball Adderley. Well, some great sounds came out of that piano. And Harrington's got a great act to follow. Third down now for the Oregon quarterback. Lowry's the motion receiver. Roll hard to the right on the pocket. Points. Fires underneath. First down, Parker. I mean, this quarterback is on fire, ladies and gentlemen.
He's as accurate and as confident as any college quarterback I've seen in a long time. And this time, he had a tremendous amount of time to throw the ball. The half rolls are really working. Look at all that time. And he moves both of his feet together as he shuffles up in the pocket. Perfect technique.
45 seconds left here in the half. Harrington comes back to the left, and wide open Jason Willis that time. So Harrington has thrown for 233 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. Joey Harrington is the story of the first half. He certainly has been the most valuable offensive player here at Sun Devil Stadium on a beautiful New Year's afternoon, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Of course, the winner hopes that Nebraska can win the Granddaddy Thursday night. Nebraska will be taking on favored Miami in that game. You know, everybody had a say as to who was the #2 team. And of course, the humans opted for Oregon, and the computers went for Nebraska. And so when we were up in Nevada, I dropped by a couple of the odds makers and I said, who would be #2 in your power ratings? I'm kind of curious. Would Miami be favored over everybody? They said, yes, it would. But I said, well, what would be the shortest spread? And they said, Florida. They said, we would make Miami only a 4-point favorite over the Gators. So the last 29 games, you can see the 3 most effective programs in the top 2 will be meeting. But look who is #3. You would never think. And why not?
Smart. He's going to come into some money pretty soon. You know, interestingly, for Joey Harrington in Oregon, 3 out of the last 4 games, he passed for less than 200 yards. He's got over 239. He's at 239 in the first half.
He loves to throw on this field, doesn't he?
Yep.
Got time again. Oh, he throws his first pick to the 30-yard line. He overthrew his receiver. Robinson picks it off. And that will give the Buffaloes, if nothing else, a lift going into the locker room. They've still got 25 seconds, but they can certainly build off of that.
And this is his first pick in 141 passes, his personal long streak, as he just led the receiver too much, threw it right to the safety. Joey got a little greedy that time, but it wasn't as much as a disaster if it happened on his own 20-yard line.
And guess who made the stop? #3 got over there. 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, and unhappy with that throw because he overthrew his intended target. That's the first time he has really misfired in this game. First down now from Pesavento. 25 seconds to go. Short drop, throws slant, incomplete. No penalty flag.
Kevin Mitchell, 17 tackles he had against Oregon State in the game that got him here. Got his team here, that little middle linebacker, pound for pound. Mike Bellotti said he might be the toughest football player in America. He was right on that slant. You don't want to meet that guy when you're running a slant, the middle linebacker.
Second down and 10. Pesavento steps away and throws it incomplete. Johnson, the intended receiver, but Pesavento did a good job of avoiding the sack that time. Clock is stopped with 16 seconds to go, and it's 3rd down.
And it was Kevin Mitchell again. One time he's in coverage. Here he comes. Watch him come right in and force Pesavento to throw a bad ball. Comes in, middle linebacker, comes on a stunt. Nobody takes him and forces Bobby up in the pocket and throw an errant pass. Mitchell in pass coverage. Mitchell on the rush.
4 receivers off the line. He sets that screen pass again. Cut back by Johnson. 40, penalty flag. To the 27, but a penalty flag flies as Lewis makes a stop for the Ducks with 7 seconds showing on the clock.
When you get those offensive linemen, and this is going to go long as they run the screen out this way, out in space, they usually grab someone. It's usually one of those holdings or pushes, shove in the back. And you can see a grab right there. That's what was called. It was on Gerard, number 65, coming out.
So this one is coming back.
Against the offense during the run. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Colorado has called their second timeout.
Well, Gary Barnett has played late in the afternoon on New Year's Day once before. And that, of course, is when he took Northwestern out to the Rose Bowl, which normally occupies this time slot. He played the University of Southern California, and he was beaten that day in a good game as the Wildcats made a late run on the Trojans. That was the miracle year for Northwestern. Here it has been the turnaround that Barnett and the Colorado team has performed up in Boulder this year. After losing big to Texas and earlier to Fresno State, they rolled down the stretch, beating up on Nebraska at home with 62 points, and went down to Irving, Texas at Texas Stadium and won the Big 12 championship against the Texas Longhorns. But here he finds himself down by 2 touchdowns. Taking off the headset, he'll probably just run out the first half and go on in 21-7 down. Jackaroo.
Well, Brent, we've talked a lot about the Colorado Buffaloes offensive line. They were a lot heavier and a lot more body fat when they first showed up. but Sean Watson decided to put them all on a diet with different strength and conditioning. And now the Colorado line, just 304 pounds, one of the lightest in the Big 12.
You know, when somebody says just 304 to me, Jack, I always say, oh, really? 21-7. Back in the gun. Pesavento going to take one last crack. Drop it off to McCoy underneath as the seconds run out on the first half. Joey Harrington in Oregon will take a 21-7 lead on into the locker room. And Harrington rallying the fans as we check in with Jackaroo. Jack.
Well, Coach, so far, the first 30 minutes, can you ask for anything more?
Well, yeah, I could ask for us not to give them a touchdown, but I think overall I'm very, very impressed with our defense. Our offense, I like the way we're playing, obviously pretty happy.
Do you have the balance that you want offensively?
Yes, although I'd like to run the ball a little bit better. We got to do a little bit better on first down so we don't have to always make those long third down conversions.
What about defensively? What do you have to do?
Well, we just have to stop the screen a little bit, but we're putting them in situations where we have to throw the screen. You know, we just have to make sure, remember, it's a four-quarter game. We got to come back and play hard in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Yep, the screen pass certainly was the only big gainer for Colorado. And, well, at the half, it's 21-7 Oregon. And let's send you right now to John Saunders and Terry Bowden. John?
You're watching the Bowl Championship Series on ABC Sports as coverage of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl continues.
Joey Harrington stakes Oregon to a 21-7 lead, throwing for 238 yards in the first half. Parker, 6 catches, 145 yards, 79 of them right here for a touchdown Oregon, and the Ducks are up by 2 touchdowns. And Gary Daniels, I've got to ask you, why can't Colorado convert third and short? Why can't they run the ball?
I think the quickness of this defensive line for Oregon Ducks are giving some problems. I think the game plan of putting the safeties up there, the linebackers backed off a little bit, and the ability to have 2 corners that can go man-to-man is something teams haven't been able to do against them.
And they have been very successful here in the first half of this game. So coming up now, Harrington and the Ducks will possess it to start the second half. Remember, Colorado, in a little show of arrogance, won the toss and didn't defer. They said, we want the football. So now they've got to give it up to start the second half as Pesavento loosens up on the far sideline. So the Ducks looking to get something going. This is very important here in the early minutes of the third quarter for Colorado to climb back in this, get a stop or a turnover, and muscle with Smith back deep along with Amundsen. Here is Smith from the 10. 20, still in bounds, penalty flag. There is a penalty flag. So that's probably an illegal block in the back. So that'll cost the Ducks some yards. Let us sort this out. And just a moment ago, Jackaroo caught up with Colorado coach Gary Barnett.
Well, Coach, what do you do to reestablish a running game?
Well, we got to quit doing some of the things we're doing. And third and shorts, you know, we killed 2 drives on 3rd and 1s. And, you know, it's hard to get creative and do what you're doing if you can't possess the football down there a little bit. And we're not throwing the ball very well. We just got to get back into our game a little bit. We got to win by 15 points. We won't do it playing that way.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Now they've got to win the second half by 15. And this first penalty favored Colorado, an illegal block in the back. And so the ball is brought back to the 12-yard line where Harrington and the Ducks will have a 1st and 10 as they break the huddle. Morris dashes out. He and Smith have been alternating at running back. Between them, they have been every bit as successful as the Colorado running backs. They open with Morris. The commitment to the run that Bellotti talked about at the end of the first half.
Well, one of the reasons Colorado has had trouble getting to Joey Harrington is because he throws the ball from different spots. Launch there, launch this way 2 times, and in the pocket 13 times. Because he moves around, and we showed how he throws the ball all over the field, Colorado doesn't feel confident to come after him with that blitz. I think they're going to have to, though. They're going to have to move up their corners, play bump and run, and put pressure on them no matter what.
Look at that jersey. On second down, that short drop, fire it out to the left-hand side, put it in Parker's hands for another first down. Lewis, number 31, over on the stop at 25. It is time now for our Morgan Stanley storyline of this Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Well, you can see it's 61 yards. And in fact, at this point in the game right now, Oregon has rushed for more yards than Colorado. I never would have believed that. Harrington has been dynamic, moving the ball around to different players. I think it's been a brilliant game plan, both offensively and defensively. And those Ducks, they may quack, but they're not cracking. Does that work?
I think it does. Just underway here in the second half. First down and 10 on the 25. There's that short drop, deflected, incomplete. Oh, had Colorado been able to pick that one off, Joey Johnson, the Hawk linebacker, was coming inside on it, and had he gotten that ball, it would have been 6 Colorado.
Yeah, it was a corner blitz this time from the outside, coming right off here to the outside. Now watch this. Tips the ball, and Robbie Robinson, number 9, almost could have got it, either him or Johnson. And that's the big turnover that Nebraska and Texas gave to Colorado that Oregon isn't.
Second down and 10 for Harrington and the Ducks. Fires to Oury. Oury short of the 30-yard line, and Lewis among those arriving. And already here in the second half, we see more black shirts around the ball carrier on the tackle than we saw most of the first half.
More aggressive on defense. Vince O'Crew has decided that he needs to get after Harrington no matter what. Move your corners up. You can't play off 10 yards and blitz, though. Harrington will pick you apart. Move the corners up, come after him, and take your chances.
Extra DB. Wood is on the field. Third down and 6.
Look at this space here.
Waits for the clear. Got it. It's Peel. First down. A beautiful pump fake by Joy. Peel clears, and they cross midfield with a 21-yard gain.
Another one of those finesse pass plays that's part of this Oregon defense. You're going to see Joey, just let him go right here, coming back in the pocket. He's going to fake the quick screen to a wide receiver and then go to the tight end down the sideline. Well conceived and completely cast this Colorado defense off balance. In that case, you have to bring them. Bring more guys than they got. Challenge your corners to play man-to-man, but you can't stay off 10 yards and expect to stop this pass offense.
Running to daylight is Morris. Got the corner on the defensive back. Still on his feet to the 21-yard line.
Was he stopped?
Morris. Touchdown. They couldn't bring him down. Morris, not to be denied, went 49 yards for the score.
Holy cow. Coming right at you. Morris takes it. Bad angle to the outside here. First by Snead, and then a bad tackle. They think he's down. 2 guys in the back give up on it. Spins off, goes over the top, puts his hand down instead of his knee, and sprints into the end zone.
Now for the extra point. Oregon puts a stranglehold on the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl on the first series of the second half. Morris dashes in. It's 28-7. Timeout. The Pac-10 champions, who satisfied the human voters but not the computers. And now the Ducks have opened up a 28-7 lead. Opening drive of the half. It took him only 6 plays to go 88 yards. Morris bolting 49 yards for the touchdown. In case you're wondering, on the rule, he rolled over a player who was down. Knee never touched the ground, so he was not down. And that's why the run was allowed. High kickoff, going to be fielded at about the 6-yard line by Hollowell. Hollowell spins and brings it out to the 28-yard line. Take another look at this now, and you will see that as he comes across the prone player, knees don't touch the ground, so it's going to be a legal 49-yard run here by Morris. Right there,
Johnson. Look at that.
Over the top of Johnson. Knees don't go down. So it is legal, and he dashes the rest of the way. The heat is on Pesavento and the Buffaloes. And again, that Oregon defense stuffs the run. Johnson, the ball carrier, and he's eaten up in the middle of that defense. Kevin Mitchell, the linebacker, doing his usual outstanding job.
Brent, this is the third time lining up strong. Gerard and Rogers have pulled to the weak side of the formation. 3 plays, 1 yard. Been stuffed every time they've tried to come away from their strength and pull their big guys. Oregon has been right in the backfield.
Somewhat surprised that Colorado doesn't stay outside sometimes. Pesavento, incomplete. And a penalty flag is thrown on the play, and it goes against Bowman.
Well, that's the challenge. I think if you're Oregon, you live with a couple of those penalties because that allows you to put 8 and 9 men in the box. Bowman running stride for side, must have arm barred him. Put his arm out and kind of impeded the progress of the wide receiver.
Bobby, let's against the defense, 15 yards on the previous spot, automatic first down.
Let's take a look and see if he sticks his arm out just as he starts. Yes, he gets leverage on the play by taking his right arm and placing it on the receiver's left arm. That's a good call.
Yeah. Bellotti unhappy with the call from the sideline, obviously. Bowman, a home game, needed 36 tickets. He grew up in this area. We had a chance to ask Rashad about coming home to play his final college game. Here's what he said.
Coming home was the best thing going, you know. That's probably one of the reasons I'm probably not as upset as the rest of my teammates about the national championship, you know, is to get that opportunity to come home and play against with my friends and my family watching the game.
He's just a delight. I remember when Dan Fouts and I did his first game as a freshman. He's been a starter, underwent knee surgery. He plays a lot bigger than he is. Second down now and 9. Pesavento off the play fake, rolling hard to the right, and it is complete for a first down to Cedric Cormier, the senior from Houston.
Colorado's starting to do a little bit what Oregon does with their passing game. Buy time by bringing your quarterback out of the pocket and then run the deep comeback. When you're facing bump and run, you can't just run fade routes. You have to give them something else, and that deep comeback off of play action is very effective against that bump and run.
That's McCoy, number 80, turning back on the motion. To Graham, the tight end. Graham muscles his way to the 26-yard line, and another Buffalo first down. Moretti makes the stop.
What they're doing with Daniel Graham is bracketing him. Inside with a linebacker, a safety deep. You throw the ball, you'll see him triangled. 3 guys coming in on him every time. If his release is across the formation, the linebacker will take him. If it's deep, the safety will take him outside the strong safety. Good game plan, again, from Oregon.
Buffalo's looking for a quick strike. Pesavento to take off. Very close to the line. End of the end zone for a touchdown goes McCoy.
They're calling him over
and they believe he was over the line when he threw it. This one is coming back.
The referee made the call. The referee was a guy who ran up there and made the call. That's not usually the player, the official that makes the call in that situation.
Now the line was the 26. And as you look across at the down marker, it actually looks between the 26 and the 27. Did he pick it up?
The passer was across the line of scrimmage when he threw the pass. 5-yard penalty plus 12, so down. He's second down.
26.5-yard line. You can see it right there. Let's take one look at it and see where he lets this ball go. Comes up in the pocket. Oh boy, I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I think that's a bad call. I think actually the referee, the official, out of position made the call, and that's why he blew it.
Johnson is eaten up. Well, we have Dave Perry, the head of Big Ten officials, with us up here in the booth. Dave, I know that you just had a chance to look at that replay one time. What's your feeling about the call and the man who made the ruling?
Well, normally a referee would not make that call in order to be a line of scrimmage official. Extremely close. Going to have to look at it some more. I'm sure they will in the tape review.
Looked to me like the ball was out of his hand before he got past the line of scrimmage, but I think the wrong official made the call.
Trailing the play like that, it is so hard for him to make that decision when he's not looking down the line. That's what you hate to see. Incomplete, overthrew McCoy that time, and it is 4th down. So a terrible break for the Buffaloes here with 9:35 to go in the 3rd quarter. Down by 21 points. Gary Barnett needed that touchdown.
I'm sure Oregon will stay with their defense on the field. They will look for a fake here and force Colorado to just kick the field goal.
Jeremy Flores didn't kick the first half. He got a 47-yarder. He played at Scottsdale Community College before going up to Boulder. No good. So he missed the 47-yarder. And they trail the Oregon Ducks 28-7. This one was close, but he just pulled it too much. Timeout.
Personalize your phone, your life, your world. Nokia, connecting people. ESPN. Which sports center do you watch? Mornings, evenings, late nights? And Chrysler. Drive equals love.
Well, the sun beginning to set on the Valley of the Sun, and it also beginning to set on Colorado. A very bad break just moments ago for the Buffaloes, who appeared to many to have scored. Joey Harrington on a great play fake. He's got the fullback running free for another first down, and that's Josh Line, the senior from Springfield, Oregon. 16 more yards for Joey Harrington, who has now thrown for almost 300.
Just another different play from Oregon. You can never settle on exactly what they're going to do. First down, they're going to throw deep. First down, they're going to run the counter. First down, they're going to run the bootleg. Colorado, needs to man up and come after Harrington. It's their only chance in this game, and they're off 10 yards again.
Parker's in the slot. Got him again, and he is hit just as soon as he touches the ball by Michael Lewis, the safety. Check in with Jackaroo.
This is a very special weekend for Josh Line. You see, he and his wife Tiffany were supposed to be welcoming their first child into the world sometime after this game. But their young son Griffin was born 5 weeks premature. But I'm pleased to say that Griffin and Tiffany have made the trip to the Fiesta Bowl, wowing all of the doctors, and they said they wanted to see Dad play his last game.
Well, that was a great moment because they saw Pop handle the ball for the first time. That pump fake again by Harrington going deep. Once that home run, Parker's held up. He is overthrown as he collided with Strickland coming out. Well, here's a reminder for you on ESPN Sunday Night Football. Warren Sapp and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers must stop Donovan McNabb and the Eagles to avenge last year's playoff loss in Philadelphia. That is Sunday Night Football, 8:30 Eastern on ESPN.
I get the feeling now, Brent, that Joey Harrington feels like he's playing with house money. He's got this big lead. He wants to go deep with the ball. He wants to get one more there. He had a couple short throws right there. The patience that he had in the first half, now he's starting to look deep a little bit too much.
28-7, here's 3rd and 8. Buffaloes need the ball. Buffalo blitz. Harrington given all kinds of time. Colorado read the screen. No first down. They dropped off, and Smith couldn't pick up the necessary yardage, and Oregon forced a punt. Sam Wilder, the defensive end, a freshman out of Dallas, making the defensive play for the Buffaloes.
I think Joey Harrington gave that play away. He dropped way too deeply on that play. You have to settle at 5 yards and then retreat. He just sprinted back, and I think Colorado smelled it, and he smelled it right.
So far, the directional punting and the special team play by Oregon's been superb. Remember, that was a point of emphasis for Bellotti all week. His special teams betrayed him the last time he took on Colorado in a bowl game, that over in Hawaii, when Ben Kelly hauled the opening kickoff back for a touchdown. Hollowell makes the fair catch inside the 15. yard line. So Harrington and the Ducks lead it by 21 at the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Timeout. Lottie told us he was very flattered by the interest shown in Notre Dame. He has a couple of youngsters in high school back in Eugene. He's very comfortable with the lifestyle there. But ladies and gentlemen, that man someday will wind up in the National Football League. This is an outstanding coach. Pesavento, and is caught on a slick throw for a first down. Daniel Graham, the senior tight end Mackey Award winner from Denver.
Well, because David Moretti that time was right on Graham that time. That had to be a slick throw because it was perfect. The two quarterbacks, obviously, Harrington controlling this football game. He's got more weapons. He's got a better offense. Pesavento needs the running game to complement him.
And that was our Nokia player comparison. Pesavento and Harrington. They'll bring the chains out here to measure this. The big story of the game, forget the star who is Joey Harrington, but the big story has been the ability of Nick Aliotti's defense to stop the Colorado juggernaut after watching what they accomplished against Nebraska and Texas, and then to watch them being held to 7 points and only 64 rushing yards. Oh my goodness. Against Nebraska, they must have had that in the first quarter, as I remember.
Didn't Chris Brown have that on one run, I think? Remember, he just sprinted in there for a touchdown.
Now, of course, you're down by 21. Purify the running back. It makes him more one-dimensional. You've got to play catch-up. Pesavento firing underneath. And I believe he's close to another first down. Is that a face mask? Late flag comes flying in. Matt Brunson, the receiver that time. Webster, the rover, on him.
That might be the 15-yarder, too, the way he dragged him down with that face mask, if it is.
A 5-yard face mask added on to the end of the run, making a first down.
Oregon comes right at him with the blitz. Stands there, delivers another on-target pass. Webster comes across, yanks him down, and that could have gone either way. That could have been a 15-yarder just as easily as a 5-yarder there as he turned him down. Actually, his hand came loose, and that's why he only got the 5 yards.
Pesavento hit, and he was not expecting Bowman to be coming. Hard off the corner, Rashad Bowman, the young man from Phoenix.
One of 6 players on this Oregon team who played against Colorado in that bowl game in Hawaii that you did, Brent. This is part of your job as a quarterback, to check this guy out. That's your job. You saw Joey Harrington do it. This time, Pesavento doesn't go through his reads, and he pays the price. He's lucky he didn't fumble.
Second down and 16. The run. And the daylight goes purified. Battling close to a first down. A powerful run with Lewis making the stop for the Ducks.
Bobby Purified, 900+ yards rushing this year for Colorado. Chris Brown, Cortland Johnson, they have not been able to get these guys free in the secondary like this, as they've been regularly doing in the second half of the year. Oh, 2 3rd-and-1s they did not make in the first half. That has really kept them from controlling the ball.
The rushing totals today, the biggest surprise of the game. Oregon out-rushing Colorado. Fake toss, they're going to throw on 3rd down. Wide open, they got Graham, he juggles it. Incomplete.
Oh, man. Couldn't throw it any better, and it's going to force Colorado, I believe, to go on 4th down.
Down by 3 touchdowns. You've almost got to go here, don't you?
Wide open Graham is here. Runs right by the safety, Keith Lewis. Ball's perfectly thrown, and he just drops it.
So Colorado 0 of 3 now on 3rd and 1. So let's follow Gerard. Gerard and Drum. Oregon knows it. You know it. We know it. And here they come. Chris Brown will be the ball carrier. Drum the lead man. Here it comes. Oregon made him battle for it. It'll depend on the spot. appeared from that spot that he's got the first down. You can see the man who came over from the line gave him the spot.
Sure didn't blow it up, though, did they?
Oh, they didn't. Now, I'm counting on our yellow line guy on this one, okay? I want, you know, I can remember a couple of weeks ago when I said this, and I was only off a yard on that.
I know. Usually you have to pass the yellow line for it to be a first down.
Do you think?
I don't know.
I always thought if you got
I'll tell you what, it'll be at the most a half a football if he makes it.
Here we go.
Half
Stretch
a
it
football.
out.
Half a football. Yep.
Maybe even less than that.
Whew.
Oregon made him pay the price. Inside of 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Colorado cannot waste time. They've got to strike. Oh, can you believe that Graham would drop a ball that wide open? He was running free. I think he was looking at where he was headed for the end zone.
The two players that were suspended and weren't allowed to start this game have missed a field goal and dropped a potential touchdown pass.
Big story in this game. The fake draw, middle, long, incomplete, and a great reach at the end as Bowman had the coverage on Brunson.
If you have enough guts to go man-to-man with your corners on wide receivers in college football, you can crowd that line of scrimmage. Bowman, stride for stride, he thinks he's going to intercept it. Actually, Brunson knocks it away from him right at the end of the play.
Second down. Purify, who's rushed for 24 yards. The running back here on second down. And he's hit on the handoff. Read perfectly by Kevin Mitchell, the sophomore from Orange, California.
It was a finesse play, Brent. It was going to be a reverse. They were trying to bait him to come inside this way. At the end of the play, he just doesn't read it. He goes for the running back. Mitchell just makes the tackle before the reverse guy right here can get the ball. Mitchell's been all over the football field.
He's also stepping in as the long snapper on punts today because the regular long snapper came up with an injury. He has never been the long snapper on punts before, but he's a good athlete doing the job. Here's Pesavento, drew time, goes to coverage, and it's intercepted. Smith's second of the game. Smith with his second interception of the game. The senior from Rancho Palos Verdes picks off Pesavento again.
Really don't know what Colorado is trying to do here. Two-man route, third and very long. The safety's back in the middle of the field. When you only have two guys out and you have a safety standing there, four guys covering two, you're most of the time going to get this ball picked off.
Both interceptions are very costly. Both came on third down. Timeout.
Hi, I'm Specialist Shane. Hi, Mom. This is Stephen, my fiance.
How you doing, man?
Happy New Year, Mom. And this tailgate party at USO Camp Casey, Korea is brought to you by Tostitos. And what a beautiful view as the sun sets on the desert here in Arizona. The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Oregon and Joey Harrington leading Colorado 28-7. The story has been the Duck defense. They've limited Colorado to 69 rushing yards. Got them in a passing mode with that score. Now they've been held to 208 yards of offense. And Harrington back on the field, goes to work on the clock now with Smith, the ball carrier on first down. Johnson making the stop. Colorado must have the ball back quickly as Oregon begins to bring it down, and Craig Oaks, who gave up his starting job because of an injury to Pesavento, starts to warm up on the far side, and perhaps we will see him as Pesavento takes a seat, trailing 28-7. Pesavento with those two interceptions, winding up his career at Colorado on a down note for the young man, who's a fine young man who hung in there even though he lost his starting job. He's the very epitome of never give up, but things not going his way today. Harrington snaps it off to Howery again. Lowry is surrounded at the 25-yard line, and Michael Lewis making another stop. Remind you that coming up next on our triple header, BCS will take you down to the Big Easy, to the Nokia Sugar Bowl. Illinois, winners of the Big Ten, will take on LSU, champions of the SEC. We've had about half the field in the BCS this year. Came into the season unranked. Two of those teams, Illinois and LSU, will meet tonight in the Nokia Sugar Bowl. Here in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, Colorado came out of nowhere to win the Big 12. Oregon, though, was one of the favorites all along for the Pac-10. Their only loss this year at the hands of Stanford. As Harrington on a quick pop over the middle of the tight end. And he is out to the 38-yard line for a first down. Justin Peel, the senior from Dublin, California.
Love the way Harrington delivers this ball. He just doesn't lay it out there. He rockets this ball. He knows he's got a hot. As he backs out, he just gives it to his tight end. Another first down. Doesn't throw it off balance. Fires it right at those numbers.
Harrington receives more punishment when he plays the piano than he has today against this defense.
They're blitzing. They're just one step ahead. Blitz them, hot. You got to cover them. You got to move up and cover them. Colorado's playing 10 yards off.
First down. Here's the toss now. Smith runs for the corner, and there is Lewis. He has been a standout, even though Colorado trails at 28-7. And aerial coverage of today's game is provided by Tostitos. A sellout crowd, an early sellout. About the second day after tickets went on sale. Oregon even sent down for more tickets. And a lot of Colorado fans have made their way down from the Denver area. So far, they have not had a lot to cheer for. They trail it 28-7. We're coming down to the final minute of the third quarter. Harrington and the Ducks have dominated both sides of the line of scrimmage here today. They bring the end around. Willis to the 45-yard line. And it'll be third down and about, make it 3 or 4 now coming up.
Nice block by Ontario Smith. Just outside of your picture here is going to come out and get the last men on the line of scrimmage. Does a nice job here getting Massini right there. Number 2. Boom. Perfect. That springs it for the yardage. Positive yards instead of negative yards. Well coached, doing his job.
Injured player being tended to. Colorado Buffalo down. Gary, as we think about the game itself and the entire game, what surprises you the most? We had expected a high-scoring game with both teams trading punches, and Colorado's been unable to score for Barnett.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, Colorado thought they could mash them. They felt that they could knock them off the ball. They knew they didn't have a great passing game. They knew their own corners might not be able to stand up. They thought they could control the clock and take the pressure off their quarterback. That's been the story of the game. They can't run the ball against this Oregon Duck defense.
Aliotti, the defensive coordinator, and he was very open about the game plan. In fact, he could have called Barnett and told him, because he told everybody else. He said, we're going to man the corners about 75% of the time. We're going to put 8 or 9, and then we're going to maintain those gaps. We don't want the cutback runs that Colorado had against Nebraska and Texas. We're going to change the front from time to time. It was a very open game plan, nothing secretive. Here's Harrington. He's got another one for a first down at midfield. Joey Harrington putting it in the hands of Parker. So when you go back to the matchup of the defensive coordinator, Aliotti, against Watson, the offensive coordinator, it has been lopsided here today. Nick Aliotti has had Watson's number as far as programming the defense is concerned.
Look at this space. You got to crowd the line of scrimmage. It's 3rd and 5. You can't give him that easy throw. He'll pick you apart all day like he has.
We've come to the end of the third. Oregon, 1 quarter away for arguing for at least half a national championship. Back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
The ball.
You never know what my partner Gary Daniels is going to kind of come up with during those commercials. He said, Brian, Harrington might be so good, the Texans will have to take him.
Houston Texans, right? It's hard to pass this guy up. He's in complete control. He's got a wonderful offense and a defense that really can't match up.
Yeah, you were really impressed. I haven't seen you this impressed with a quarterback all season long.
Command of the game, knowing what he wants to do, and having the ability to wait and take the big play when it gets there. That's the key.
He's thrown for 311 yards, 3 touchdowns, facing a 1st and 10 as we start the 4th quarter. And breaking free again, this time it is Smith. Remember earlier, it was Morris for 49 yards on that play in which he rolled over a prone defender and then dashed the rest of the way for the touchdown in the 3rd quarter.
Brent, when you talk to your friends, those odds makers
my friends,
and stuff,
yes,
okay?
They are my friends.
What were the odds that Oregon would outrush Colorado in this football game? Did you get that one?
Off the board, my friends. You know, there's some things I don't even bother to ask for because I think it's ridiculous, you know, but here it is. I mean, 127 to 69. Oregon has outrushed them and leads it 28-7. Another underdog, though, coming through for us, Gary. The Buffaloes were favored. Harrington pumps it into nothing but wide open space. Willis, who has been one of his big receivers here today.
Joey Harrington's wondering why people in the Pac-10 don't run this defense all the time. A 10-yard cushion, they're going to run it again. They're going to run the smash route. He goes out 5 yards, he stops, he allows the deep guy to just hook there and just take an easy pitch and catch. Harrington says, I didn't know the Big 12 was this easy. I could have won the Heisman if I'd have played in the Big 12.
And those humans were right after all. We should have been in Pasadena. That's what they're thinking. 1st down and 10. Ball on the 36. There's a fake from Harrington. Penalty flag. Middle's open, incomplete. But there is a penalty flag at the 35-yard line. Check in with Jack Arute. Jack.
Brent, Gary, do you remember when we met with the Oregon coaches and specifically with Jeff Tedford when he told us the most important tape that this team reviewed all in preparation for this game was that Big 12 championship? They saw some of the chicanery that Vince Okru tried to play against Texas. And Jeff told us, he said, hey, we're not surprised. We know what we're expecting.
Yeah, exactly. And Jeff Tedford, whom you saw there, is headed to Berkeley and the University of California. Sort of interesting because one of the stories we pursued early on with Bellotti is why did you keep Tedford here and not turn him loose? You know, if you talk to Bobby Bowden, he probably wishes a year ago that Mark Richt had gone early to Georgia after he was hired. But Bellotti said we talked it over. Jeff said he wanted to stay with the youngsters who he had helped bring in to Eugene. He hired his assistant coaches early on. We thought he had Berkeley well taken care of. So certainly we welcomed him. And then he'll name a new offensive coordinator sometime, probably next week, as Smith powers his way to the 35-yard line. Guess who has the most completions, most completed passers ever in a Tostita Fiesta Bowl? Now, I know you don't know, but it's a good friend of yours, Gary. So I know you're going to be able to guess it for me. 1985.
Bernie Kosar.
There you are, Miami against UCLA. I knew you'd get it.
He had to play in the game against Boston College and then come right out here after.
Came right here. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
They played in that game. So 31 is the number, and Harrington's sitting on a 25 right now with 13 minutes to go. He said, all right, Mr. Kosar, one closer at the 30-yard line with that completion to Jason Willis again. So we've talked about Dan Fouts, and Monday night he'll be there for the season finale of Monday Night Football along with Al and Dennis. And you'll see the Vikings and the Ravens. Now, if I have this correct, the Vikings are long gone, and
yes,
the Ravens haven't wrapped up a playoff post. Right? Do I have it right?
The first half, I know you do.
Okay. 3rd down, as George Hill will be joining the Monday Night crew. He shakes his head affirmative that that's the way it is. So if the Ravens can shut down Randy Moss,
here's
wrap
Peel.
that up.
He catches him on 3rd down, the tight end.
Yeah, he sure does. Harrington pump fake, look back. Head and cover. He's going to go for the end zone. Going to go for one more. Overthrew his receiver. And Strickland out of bounds. Made the catch out of bounds. So 4th down coming up for the Ducks here with 12 minutes to go.
Well, they keep coming at you, don't they? That number 3 jersey, as you've been pointing out, Brent, I mean, that's as clean as a kicker's jersey after the game.
Absolutely. I mean, just take a look at number 3. He'll put it down right. That's as dirty as he's been all day.
He can
put
put
one knee down
he can
for
frame
Siegel.
it right after this game. He can just put it in a frame.
47-yarder. Slips it through just like that. So his long 46, he's got a new one at 47, and it's 31-7. Timeout. Out here at the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, 74,118 and 16. The last 17 Tostitos Fiesta Bowl games have been complete sellouts. One of the great settings during the bowl season. This, of course, hosting the BCS game. Next year, the championship game of the BCS will be played. Colorado being upset 31-7. Hollowell being sealed in the corner. Coming out from the 10. Looking daylight, slips him down at the 20-yard line. Well, let's remind you about the job. A new year and a new season, but still the same bad attitude. Dennis Leary back at the job starting Wednesday, January 16th at 9:30, 8:30 Central right here on ABC. And what a job this defensive unit of Oregon has done against Colorado. And Craig Oaks checks in at quarterback. The sophomore from Boulder replaces Pesavento. They drop him back in the shotgun. High, intercepted on his first pass, and he's done it again. Steve Smith, 3 interceptions on the day. He will be the defensive player of the game as he picks off Craig Oaks, throwing his first pass of the game. And Harrington and the Ducks are in business again.
Crossing route. Oaks probably fired up, got a lot of juice in that arm, wants to show things. As he throws the ball, he just throws it too high, just tipped, and there's the freebie. There's the freebie right there. Smith gets his third one, and that was just a ball poorly thrown, and Colorado pays the price.
Marcus Houston, number 21, had checked in for the first time, and it was off his hand, the running back for Colorado. So now Morris inside the 25-yard line. Remember now, both Morris and Smith have scored touchdowns. Morris rushing, and he's gained 88 yards on the ground. He's the leading rusher. But Smith took that shovel pass from Joey Harrington, one of the 3 touchdown passes that Harrington has thrown here today in this game. So coming down toward the 11-20 mark, leading at 31-7 with a 2nd down and 9.
I keep throwing the ball if I'm Oregon. I put points on the board, points on the board. I want everybody to see how many we scored against Colorado if I'm Oregon. Throw it.
And here comes Harrington moving hard left, not complete. It'll be 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. And it took 5 black shirts to bring Justin Peel down that time. And Oregon going to make a statement now. 19 more yards, and this is a team that wanted to be in Pasadena.
What a system. Half roll, throwback. Get the linebackers moving and gun it. You see he doesn't lay it up. He just guns it right there. Big body in front of a small body. What a nice system. What a magnificent quarterback Joey Harrington is.
They close the deal here, and they'll be cheering hard for Nebraska. Because rest assured, the media will anoint Oregon the winner of the Associated Press poll with what they're doing here today. Colorado with 7 points. Remember, they scored 62 on Nebraska. Peel goes back to that fullback spot, and they'll run, and Morris tackled at the 4-yard line that time. A nice tackle by Dabdoob. He's a freshman from the state of Louisiana. Going to be a good football player up in Boulder. The fullback Josh Line comes in from the Oregon sideline with this play. Second down and goal for Harrington. He's got his fullback in there. He could be the lead blocker for Morris. Gonna throw. Harrington in trouble. Outrunning Johnson. Fires. Touchdown! Justin Peel, the 4th touchdown pass of the game for Joey Harrington. And what a merry tune he's playing here today against Colorado.
Same play that Colorado used against Fresno Fresno State. Fullback in the flat, tight end deep. It's not there, so what does the tight end Peel do? Finds a different area, and buying time, Harrington comes back to him and makes the throw. You know the tune he's playing right now? Houston Texans, Houston Texans.
There's the extra point being added. Harrington saluting the crowd during each home game. 50 friends and relatives chartered a bus and drove from Portland. They were there to see Joey Harrington, and are they ever enjoying this? Timeout.
City, we know how you feel. That's why we're here. Circuit City, we're with you. FedEx, ground, international, online, or express. There's a FedEx for that. And your Morgan Stanley financial advisor, who will never let you lose sight of what you're investing for.
Joey Harrington has thrown for 350 yards here today. He's 28 of 42, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception way back in the first half. Wrapping up a fabulous career at Oregon. The offensive player of the year this year in the Pac-10. Here is Hollowell. He'll try to light a fire for the Buffalo. The 20. Cuts loose, tries to find another crease, and makes the most of it to the 31-yard line. Well, Joey Harrington, also a piano player. And what a tune he's played for us today, huh? Good stuff. Piano teacher once said when he was a youngster, what a great left hand he's got. Well, man, his right hand's not bad here either today. Let me tell you, 9:20 to go, and Joey Harrington, who saw his likeness on a New York skyscraper to the cost of $250,000, and those backers knew what they were bragging about. This young man is as good as it gets in college football.
I think he earned it back. Didn't he get into a $13 million bowl game? I think that's a good investment.
Absolutely. Oaks still in the game.
Watch out.
What a hit McCoy takes underneath that time.
Guess who?
Yes, Kevin Mitchell. He's been all over the field. Great linebackers on this Oregon team. You know, we're going to rave about Joey Harrington because he put the offensive numbers up. But folks, you can't say enough about this defense holding Colorado to only 7 points here today. That's a first down.
I am not surprised that Oregon has thrown the ball effectively against Colorado.
Exactly.
I just thought Colorado would be able to put on 35 points on the other side of the field, too.
I agree with you, Gary. I really thought both offenses would go up and down the field and finish. And, of course, we were so impressed because we watched Colorado dominate Nebraska and Texas in person.
But Colorado didn't have the turnovers in this game like they had against Nebraska.
Oh, the gamble doesn't pay off. Here comes McCoy. Oregon got a little greedy that time, and
House
McCoy,
money.
exactly.
House money.
House money. I'm going to go for it.
They're going for it.
A little more glory, and that's a 28-yard gain. And Oaks will try to finish off here with 8.5 minutes. We've had 45 points scored in this game so far.
See, Bowman's a veteran. He knows Brent Musburger's doing the game. He wants Brent to do one of him, running down the field with an interception. You've done him before, right?
Oh,
a couple
yeah.
times?
He's a dandy. Love to talk to him, or I should say love to listen to him.
Yes. He was so focused, such a great leader in practice the other day.
Yeah, isn't he, though?
Yep.
Here comes Oaks. Yeah. Before he can release the football by Mallard. And now it is time for our FedEx ground air stats. Rushing yards today. That's not a mistake, folks. The Ducks have outrushed the herd. As far as passing is concerned, no contest. All Joey Harrington for 350. Out of bounds. Graham, the intended receiver. I think there's a penalty flag down on the far side here at the 8-minute mark. So referee Ford's last game. You know, he made a big call. When you go back to a big moment in this game, Colorado had a touchdown call back because they said Pesavento had stepped over the line of scrimmage and it was an illegal forward pass. And clearly that will be the controversial play of this game. So we're at the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, a sellout crowd here in Tempe, Arizona. The lights are turned on. Colorado and Oregon, and you know the storyline. The winner here will root hard.
The penalty is declined. Third down.
The winner here will root hard for Nebraska to upset Miami in the Rose Bowl when they play for the BCS championship. Then they can hope the media would crown them at least co-national champions along with Nebraska. And Oregon has made a strong, powerful statement so far here today. But nothing has figured in college football this year. It has been a rocky, rocky season. Oaks is in trouble and he's going down. Down at the 48-yard line, Keith Lewis, the free safety on the blitz.
It was Mallard, excuse me, Mallard first, Lewis the second time, and it is just a disaster trying to throw the ball. Colorado is not made for this type of game. Even though Oaks threw 50 times against Fresno State, Oregon is not Fresno State.
Third down and 25, and of course right after our game, the Nokia Sugar Bowl, Illinois and LSU coming your way.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct against the defense, a 15-yard penalty will bring up fourth down.
It must have been a celebration after the sack by Lewis there, as he pranced out after the sack.
Officials obviously thought Mark Gastineau was back on the field. Inside line for you NFL fans out there. I'm sure
that's way back.
Talking about how old is that guy? Well, first and 10 this quarter is brought to you by Monster.com. And Oregon has been a monster to deal with here today. Fourth down, and Ford whistled it before the snap. So he'll come on up here and they'll sort this out.
Well, we talked about what both teams had to do, and I think have it, keep it turned out to be the biggest. When you have the ball, you got to keep it against a good offensive football team. 3 turnovers from Colorado. Stay balanced, okay, but not being able to run it. You know, I was 2 out of 3 here.
Oh, you were?
That was 2 out of 3. That's pretty good.
You were very good. I don't think anybody who follows college football expected to see Oregon shut down Colorado's rushing game here today. Now it's fourth down and 8, and here's Oaks. There's Graham, first down, jumps over, and he'll be forced out of bounds inside the 10-yard line, where it'll be first down and goal. Mallard forcing the All-America tight end out.
Mallard got picked by his own guy here. Number 18, watch him bump into it. I think it's Mitchell that he bumps into, and that's what allows Graham to get to the outside, and Graham catches him. You know, I thought it was 2 big plays in this game. The drop pass by Graham, and then the call on the touchdown play. That was 28-7 when that touchdown. Maybe it's a football game from 28-14.
Yeah, good point. Graham, the leading receiver for the Buffaloes here today. Fumble on the snap. Oaks dives back on it. And it'll be second down and goal. Graham, 6 catches for 64 yards. Good day's work out of your tight end. Parker for Oregon caught 9 balls for 162 yards here today.
Craig Oaks is the future for Colorado. I'm not so sure if it was the other way around. If Pesavento was a sophomore and Oaks was a senior, I think we'd still be seeing Pesavento. But you want to take advantage, give Oaks some playing time for his future and for Colorado's future next year.
Second down and goal. Houston still a running back, and he didn't help his quarterback out much that time. The young running back, number 21, unable to pick up some of the rushmen from Oregon that time, and they just swarmed all over the quarterback. Kevin Mitchell, Olshansky is there, and 21 have to prove on his blocking skills a little bit.
Only one returning starter came back to this defensive line for Oregon this year. That was McEwen. And really, one of their best playmakers, Tedderton, has barely played in this football game because of a bad ankle. They still have been able to hold up all game against the run.
5 seconds on that play clock. Oaks has to hurry. He's down to 2. Didn't get it off. Oaks didn't check the clock. That's going to cost him 5 yards right now. And let's remind everybody that on Sunday, January 27th, Stephen King, the modern master of suspense, will bring the terror home. Rose Red. Sunday, January 27th, only on ABC. You like those scary deals, Gary?
When there's a lot of people around, by myself, not really. It's better than playing against the New York Giants, though, when Lawrence Taylor was there.
Third down, on the 21-yard line. Deep drop, Oaks going to try to fire it. High, incomplete. Oregon's coverage also has been outstanding here today. They have closed and they've helped those corners. And Webster, the rover man, back there. You just can't say enough about Alioti's overall defensive package here today. It has been terrific.
You don't win the Big Ten championship, even though this is the second last Pac-10 championship without being able to play some pass defense.
They could have won the Big Ten with this team too.
You're right.
Fourth down, and Flores, and he kicks the field goal. So it is 38-10 after the 39-yard field goal. 5:53 left. Timeout. The other night I'm walking here in Tempe, and a couple of them are on bicycles, and they're taunting the Colorado fans. They're pedaling by and saying, "Hey, you guys wish you were in Pasadena, don't you? Ha, ha, ha." And off they pedal into the night. And here are a couple of others with the old Eric Crouch banner. And, of course, we'll see Eric Crouch in Nebraska Thursday night against favored Miami. Timeout. This tailgate party at the Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany, brought to you by Tostitos. Good mug of that German beer and some of those Tostitos scoops. Tastes real good. Along about now, 5:47 to go. Pat Brome and Oregon expecting perhaps an onside kick here at the 5:47. Not to be. It'll be fielded at the 13-yard line by Amundsen. And Amundsen down about the 19-yard line. Now it is time for the Ford Tough play of the game. And folks, here is Morris on this 49-yard touchdown run. Appears to be down about the 22-yard line. He'll roll over a defender. His knees will not touch the ground. He dashes in. And folks, the 49 yards right now equals the entire rushing output for Colorado after the sacks are taken off. That's right, officially, Colorado has been held to 49 yards, and that's what Morris had on the Ford Tough play of the game.
Well, I've heard people predict that Colorado was going to score 50. They didn't even rush for 50 in this game.
Smith the runner this time, and he makes it to the 32-yard line. And Fluellen, fine young defensive tackle, makes the stop. Let's check in with Jack Aroo. Jack?
Well, guys, Joey Harrington is not the first Harrington to play quarterback at Oregon. They still toss the ball around now and again. It was Joey's dad, John, that quarterbacked the Ducks back in the 60s. And if it's anything the way my father talks, he'll probably insist that Joey is a cheap imitation.
Yeah, and on the day he was born, Jack, a letter of intent arrived for John. And so Joey had that in his crib. He was a Duck from the day he was born. And grew up in Portland, Oregon. Just as fine a young man as you'd ever want to be around. 4:47 to go now, and Joey Harrington and the Ducks making an argument for at least the Associated Press crown as Line runs it straight ahead to the 36-yard line. Bellotti and the Ducks now working on the clock, trying to bring it down as quickly as they can.
Well, should Nebraska knock off Miami? I think a split title would be fair. I think it would be fair. I think Oregon taking half of it, Nebraska taking half of it. I think that'd be fair for everyone.
No quarrel here. This is a good-looking football team.
Yes, it is.
You know, that Mr. Jackson fellow who's going to be doing the Rose Bowl, he keeps us out of that time zone, you know. So this is a pleasure for us to see Joey Harrington of the Ducks here. First down and 10, 4:16. Yeah, Tim Brandt, Keith Jackson will be bringing you the Rose Bowl presented by AT&T. And coming up next, we've got the Nokia Sugar Bowl down there in New Orleans, the Big Easy, Illinois and LSU. Gary, what's your thoughts about Illinois and LSU?
Kirk Kittner's one of the 3 best quarterbacks in college football. We've seen what a good quarterback can do. This type of game plan, he gets hot, anything can happen.
So we'll take a break. Oregon headed for a win in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Timeout. Up in Boulder, Colorado. As far as Oregon is concerned, they have lost only once. So Oregon's only loss this year came at the hands of Stanford, and 2 punts were blocked by Stanford in that game. And it brings up a story that we're going to relate as we show you that videotape. And this is whistle before the snap. The up back for Oregon was a backup quarterback, number 10. And on the first one, he doesn't get his man, but Bellotti is told that a guard missed the block. So they leave the young man in, and the quarterback gets overpowered again, and Stanford blocks the second punt. So after that, the special teams coach, Robin Ross, changed the up back, and he has done an outstanding job here today because Bellotti was really concerned about his special teams coming into this game. So it's just amazing when you go back in sport and plays happen for Colorado. The little things, that go on that you learn about later. Second down and 13 now. And Joey Harrington, whenever you walk up and interview him and talk to him, it's the smile that captivates you. And I said, Joey, how come you're so optimistic? What's that all about?
I honestly just have fun. You know, when you start getting real negative and you start getting down on yourself, that's when the game's not fun anymore. I play the game because I enjoy it, because I enjoy the interaction with my teammates, and I love being out there in front of all the people. It's just a fun game to play.
It's infectious, folks.
Yep. Modest, great arm, understands the offense, team player, great leader, come back in the fourth quarter. I hate to say it. I mean, this is the type of guy you build a franchise around in the National Football League.
Exactly. And Gary, if we go back now, and this will be the 4th year for the BCS championship to be played. First one was here. That was back in '99. Tennessee of the SEC. Then it was Florida State of the ACC. And a year ago, of course, in the Orange Bowl, the FedEx Orange Bowl, Oklahoma of the Big 12. Now, Nebraska, of course, could come along. Or if Miami takes care of business and they're favored, then the Big East, it'll be 4 different conferences in 4 years with BCS championships. And Ontario Smith, you know, here's a young man you got to feel good for, too. Smith had a little problem with marijuana down in Tennessee and transferred up here to Oregon. And he's made himself into a solid citizen up there. And you got to be happy, the young man, as you are for all of the players here on the Oregon Ducks here this evening. They've lost only 1 game, and they're going to make a statement. And should Nebraska win, you can look for the Associated Press media folks to vote Oregon #1, because remember, the AP had them #2 behind Miami. It's the computers that like Nebraska a little bit better.
Doing everything right. Look at this punt.
Hollowell driven back to the 15-yard line, almost like a little decoy. And he is down at about the 18-yard line off the Arroyo punt, and that was Mallard downfield making the special teams stop. Well, we've got some folks we want to thank, and what a great year this has been for Gary, Jack, and me. One underdog after another. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Howard Katz. Howard, Happy New Year. And, of course, to our coordinating producer of ABC's College Football, our producer today down on the truck, Bob Goodrich, who's working along our fine director, Larry Camp. It is complete. Just short of that 40-yard line. The technical director, Monty Poling. Associate producer and a new papa, Mitch Green. Happy New Year to the Greens. Our associate director, Brian Fay, did an outstanding job all year. Our director of production, Bob Toms. Our production assistants, Kurt Thomas and Tim McDermott. The computer stats man, Anthony Holman, as Oaks throws low this time. Technical manager Mark Towie. Our production manager Christy Bravi. Our senior audio man Wendell Stevens. And we'll see him when we move into ACC basketball. Over here on stats, George Hill, spotter Brian Mobilson, and our stage manager did a fine job today, Chris Blankenship. Thanks to one and all, and Happy New Year to the families of all our cameramen and crew. What a year we have enjoyed covering college football as Oregon closes in on a Tostitos Fiesta Bowl triumph here. 2:53, and I'm sure the crowd from Oregon starting to chant, "We're number one, we're number one." Short drop by Oaks, and complete to the 42-yard line, and Graham again, the leading receiver, with his 7th grab of the game. And a reminder to stay tuned for the Ford mid-game report featuring scores and highlights with John Saunders and Terry Bowden from Anaheim, California. They'll set the stage for the Nokia Sugar and the Rose Bowl presented by AT&T on Thursday night. And then don't forget, tomorrow night, the FedEx Orange Bowl features Florida against Maryland. And of course that game will be sold out largely because of the Gators and their fans that will be down there to see Brock Berlin perhaps as the starting quarterback. And now some of the young defensive players who played a whale of a game being brought off the field to a huge ovation here in Tempe, as Oaks has got Graham again for a first down to the 41-yard line inside of 2 minutes. And doesn't take long, does it, folks? It doesn't take long for the T-shirts to come out.
Take a little chance before the game, you print them up, you make money after. That's capitalism, isn't it?
It is.
Doesn't work, you got to eat them.
It certainly is. I was out there walking a few blocks with Willie, a ticket broker from Denver. I said, "How's business?" He said, "It was good early. It was kind of slow this afternoon." I said, "Well, give it time, but just before the kickoff." Oaks fires deep and out of bounds. Check in with my buddy Jackaroo. Jack, I'm going to miss you next week, partner.
Well, I'll miss you too. We'll get together. You want to know where Joey Harrington's going to be Thursday, Brent? No, not in front of a TV watching ABC's coverage of the AT&T Rose Bowl. He and his family have decided to attend the Rose Bowl. I'll guarantee you that he will be one duck rooting for the Cornhuskers.
And we'll have to tell Mark Loomis and Patrick McManus of our crew to find him. He'd be a pretty good cutaway over there for Keith. Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting ball game. Second down. Hollowell, the motion receiver. And Oaks is going down at the 41-yard line. Darrell Wright, defensive end from Fort Pierce, Florida. Well, you see Florida. You know, the one thing about the BCS, folks, Gary and I have figured out a way just to shorten it. Just find the champion of the state of Florida and then pick the best team to take them on.
Every year that's happened.
Yeah.
They've been there. Oaks very rusty to me. He just looks like he's just not used to playing.
That's
Obviously,
Houston, the receiver. The running back at the 30. And that's a first down, stopping the clock at 1:13. So we get a look at the redshirt freshman out of Denver. And it has been a long, tough afternoon for Barnett and his staff. This is not what they expected. Being held to 10 points here today.
And I don't think any excuses either. He said his team was ready. He said they had great practices, very focused. They'd never been around a team as focused as this one. Just got flat out beat.
Now, I think the Oregon coaches, incomplete. If I had to give a special game ball, obviously you've got Joey Harrington, Smith with his 3 interceptions, but I'd give a special game ball to the coaching staff at Oregon. I think this is about as well prepared as I've ever seen a team meeting a team that is on an enormous high. I think Bellotti and his entire coaching staff really had the answers. I mean, they really shut that offensive line down here today with that gap control defense of Alioti's. And Colorado was never able to respond. They didn't counter back off that. So coaching is so huge in any level of football. That's why these guys demand millions of dollars. Second down and 10. Underneath on the pass to the 18-yard line. That's Cormier.
I also think that Colorado lost a lot of confidence with that deep pass early in the game, that 79-yarder. They just seemed to net back off from there in the secondary. Defensively, they just lost all confidence in their game plan.
Well, you look back at the Nebraska game, and of course, Nebraska's not built that way. They don't throw the ball deep on you. And McCoy almost free to the 5-yard line. 30 seconds left here. And it'll be 1st and goal, and maybe the Buffs will put up another touchdown here. There's Kevin Mitchell back there making another stop. And in Texas' case, Chris Sims made all those first half mistakes and put the Longhorns in a duel. But here today, Joey Harrington, they didn't rattle him. Their changeups didn't fool him, and he was right on the money, except for one high bad throw, incomplete at the goal line. Now 23 seconds to go.
But remember, Applewhite almost, that game was 39-37. Applewhite, a more experienced quarterback, was able to throw the ball very effectively against Colorado.
Good point. I think he threw one right away from a long touchdown.
And so I think there's holes in this secondary for Colorado. This is not a vintage secondary for Colorado. Nebraska just couldn't take advantage of it, and Texas too many turnovers.
2nd down and goal for Oaks. Got a man, touchdown, and it was easy. A mistake on Graham, and he was running free.
Yeah, that's 15 yards. Absolutely, Daniel Graham. You're getting beat 38-16, and you're going to dunk the ball.
His last game as an amateur. So they'll bring the try back because of the celebration. Bellatti's got the victor's t-shirt out. Final 18 seconds, thanking some of his fellows, especially the seniors. In a fine senior class. Nano exudes class. He's always a pleasure to be around. Here's Flores.
Missed.
No good.
Extra distance cost him a point. Daniel Graham's a wonderful football player. He's going to be a tremendous NFL player. But tonight, Oregon dominated the football game from start to finish. Fullback out in the flat. Daniel Graham goes deep to the back of the end zone, wide open. Oaks delivers it perfectly and give it a little bit of a dunk shot at the end of it. And, well, you got 15 yards.
Gets up in the air pretty good, though.
Wish he would have got up in the air and caught that one earlier in the game.
Yeah, held on. Remember that?
Yes,
he actually had the ball.
Yes, I do remember that one. Also remember that he missed curfew, too.
There's a nice moment. Harrington and Bowman down there, close by Jackaroot. This is the dropped ball by the Mackey Award winner. He's got away from him. No excuses. In fact, there are no excuses in this game. This was Oregon's football game from beginning to end. They put 497 yards of offense up there. We think of Joey Harrington. He has now thrown 10 touchdown passes on this field in his last 2 games. Remember, he got a half dozen a season ago against Arizona State. And so he loves playing here.
Almost 800 yards. Maybe the Cardinals should take.
Oh, they got Jake.
Oh, that's right.
There's the onside kick, and it'll be downed with 17 seconds to go. And now the Ducks can come on out here and wrap this one up.
I'm going to let the backup quarterback go in there and take the knee.
Well, we mentioned that the Oregon line at the top of our broadcast had given up only 11 sacks all season long. Today, they gave up 0 sacks, as in 0. And I can only remember pressure once when I thought it was meaningful pressure. And I think that's way back in the first quarter. So here's 5 handed off the line. There's a penalty flag down and 10 seconds. There's a big hug, huh, by the coach? Yeah, huh? Yeah, you bet. And this man about to make perhaps his final announcement. He's retired.
5-yard face mask penalty. Attacked on to the end of the run. Be second down.
He's been a good official down in the SEC. And perhaps his final announcement is for a face mask tacked on at the end of the run. And here comes the end of the game right now. Oregon wins the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl 38-16, and down we go now to Jackaroo. Jack.
Joey Harrington, congratulations. You are the king of the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Now, what sort of a statement does this make for the national championship?
That's not up to me. It's up to everybody watching the game. We played our hearts out today, and we played against the hottest team in the country. Just take a look. Just take a look.
Now, you're going to be rooting for Nebraska?
You better believe I'm going to be rooting for Nebraska. I'm going to be sitting with my friends and my family and watching that game closer than anybody else.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
There we have it. Joey Harrington and the Oregon Ducks with a huge win. Again, the final score, 38-16. Oregon wins it.